Cool. And we're live. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And, we're going to get right into it. It's a little dangerous weather out there, suboptimal. So, through the Spirit, we're going to do an indoor camp, and Lord willing to still be edifying to the elect. All right, but anyway, considering the times that we're in, the title is Brace Yourself, right? And now, with people preparing for this storm, this apparent storm that's supposed to be hitting tomorrow, different areas with very cold temperatures, it's interesting to see because people are, when you go to stores, shelves are empty, right? Stores are packed, shelves are empty, like it's just completely gone, and people are so quick to buy these things up. But it's interesting how they prepare so hastily, right? And so intensely for something like a storm that's coming. But the destruction that the Lord is bringing, the true destruction he's bringing, they don't care. They could care less. Then it goes to show you how the Lord works, right? Because that's why he said it's going to come like a thief in the night, because he's put that spirit on them to not prepare, right? Yahweh Shai said, if the good man knew what hour the thief would come, he would not have suffered his house to be broken up, right? And so we know the signs, but we don't know the exact time that the thief is going to come. So we have to watch. And that's what we're doing, right? We're bracing ourselves. Like if they say brace for impact, when you know that something impactful is coming and you brace yourself, your body, both externally and internally, prepares for impact. Okay, you harden yourself, your muscles tense up, to try and reduce the the force that's going to hit you, and that's called bracing yourself. And so, as we are doing, as the scriptures tell us to do, right? The prudent man looketh well into his goings, right? He foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are destroyed. And it really goes to show you how little regard people have for the word of the Lord, because when they are warned concerning judgment far worse than this, they don't care. But when Esau tells them, hey, there's a storm coming, which the Most High controls all anyway, they're quick, empty shelves and doing all these things. But the time is coming very soon where you're gonna see danger coming, and you're not gonna be able to prepare. You're just gonna be stuck with the circumstance you're in, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And yesterday, it wasn't even, well, it was cold, but not as cold as they say it's supposed to be. And just walking a few minutes in that, you just start to think like, damn, this shit, like, this is voluntary. You're outside. If you're outside, more than likely it's voluntary, right? You're going to your car, you're leaving your car, you're going somewhere, you're going to do something. So it's voluntary, and it's temporary. You just got to get back to the crib, turn on the heater, and you're going to be good. But how much more for when you are forced into this condition, right? When you are in the dead of winter, in this cold ass weather, or in whatever season it may be, and you're being dragged out in your nightgown, being hauled off to another cold place somewhere, or maybe you're just out and about, and you don't have anywhere to go. It's bad. You're in the forest somewhere, or some abandoned warehouse somewhere, or whatever the case may be, because that's how bad things are. And you are freezing. And the only thing you're thinking in your mind is you want some warmth. You don't have a blanket. You don't have any of that. You don't have a heater. You don't have a car. You just have your clothes. And then the wind is blowing on top of that. Left, right, all directions. That is going to be that is why the Lord mentions about how bad this judgment is going to be. People don't understand that. And when we experience these things, we think about that. Like, damn, like, your hand may touch the stove real quick and you pull it back, and that should, probably hurts for like 2-3 days. And you're like, yo, that was a quick second, man. How much more for the missiles, Or you may do a fast and you may go for a certain period of time. And you're like, damn, man, like, at some point you're going to break it, but the Lord is going to put people in an involuntary fast, and they're not going to be able to break it. And they're going to stay like that and die. And you think like, damn, man, we pray that the Lord doesn't put us through that. These people don't think like that. Okay. They don't think like that because they don't ever think that that's going to happen to them. And that's a part of what's going to get them by surprise. So I got a quick precept here, and I'll pass it to brothers. This is Mark chapter 13, verse 34. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. And the porter is like the watchman or the gatekeeper. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even or at midnight or at the cock crowing or in the morning. And we are watching because we know at his return, it's not going to be a pleasant thing for everybody. So we got to be ready, lest it be an unpleasant thing for us too. Lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. And that's what Yahushua told us. We have to watch, keep your eyes open, stay alert, look at what's going on with the right mindset, watch with intent. Don't just be there with the days passing by, because you're only getting closer and closer to this time of judgment, to the time of Jacob's trouble. And it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fun, especially not if the Lord has a target on your back. And these people, they just don't get it. But you know what? They're going to learn, like Apostle Gabar says, damn, I forgot the prefix of it, but he said basically adversity teaches. Okay. So when you start going through hardships, that adversity, that painful experience, it'll teach you very well. But that's it. You guys got it.
Was it something to the effect of, if words can't teach you, adversity will? Something like that? Yeah, something like that. I've heard him say that before. And that's true, and that's why he's a man of the Lord. He's a prophet, because he's able to see the things that's going on and not only look at his life experiences, not only look at history, but reading the scriptures and seeing the words that are being used and actually going into the words. It will lead you to understand that we're entering into a time, as the scripture says, a time like never before. And like you said, given the example with this whole winter storm that's coming, they're saying that it's going to affect over 2/3 of the American population, right? 2/3 of the American population is going to get hit by the so-called cold and storm at the same time. All right. I remember back in the summertime, we were saying it, that this winter is going to be one of the worst, if not the worst on record, because of all this weather modification that they have and their agendas to create this crisis. Okay, to create a crisis where the people are left in a situation where the trials that they're facing is not voluntary, it's actually involuntary. As is written, as Yahushua said in Mark, I believe it's in Mark also, he said, what? Pray that your flight be not in the winter, right? Or on the Sabbath day. All right. Imagine the winter time and you have to flee your house for whatever reason. Okay. And you're fleeing not from men, but you're fleeing from robot dogs that have guns mounted on top of their heads with cameras on it that could spin around, like their heads spin like an owl, like it can go 360, like just like that, looking for people and shit. Right. This is what we got going on. And in the wintertime, everything is much more difficult because you don't have the cover of trees, right? Leaves and so on and so. It's just branches, dead ass trees everywhere, right? So it's easy for them to even spot you if they were to use some type of infrared or heated camera or some shit. They'll be able to spot you, right? So Esau has technology, and that's all designed by the Lord. Designed all this to bring about the time that he's described as a time like never before. Okay, there's no time in history that we're gonna face. All right, that's why it says there'll be no time after this that's going to be like this. Like this is it. At the end of it, this is it. All right. And the analogy you gave in terms of preparation, the elect are preparing as this being the actual end, right? So the preparation is completely different compared to somebody who's preparing for, oh, this is going to be temporary, so I could just hold off till life gets back to normal again. You have two different mindsets going into this game. Okay, when you have the mindset of this is the end, you give it your all. When you have the mindset of, oh, there's going to come a time after this, as in like, okay, let's just hold off and then the storm goes and then we get back to normal, you're just holding off yourself until the storm is over. But this storm isn't the type of storm that just gets to be over. This storm ends when America is destroyed. Are you prepared for that? Right? What kind of preparations have you done to protect yourself from the destruction that's coming? And the prophets have been here telling you the kind of preparation that needs to be made. There's only one way out of this. Okay, if you're not getting beamed up by Yahushua's chariot, you're done. You're cooked. You're out of there. You're going to be sizzled. Okay, it's over with. As it tells you in the book of Revelation, the 14th chapter, you're going to be destroyed in the presence of the Lamb and in the presence of the angels. Okay, by thermonuclear fire. All right. So yes, it's very interesting because 2026 comes in with a whole bunch of different things. And of course, the very first month of the year, so-called, right, you have all the chaos that happened during the start of the year. Now, as you're entering into the end of the year, you got this going on. And how does it affect people? It affects the people, number one, physically, and it also affects the economy. Okay. And remember, we were talking about this yesterday, that it could be another ruse, right? How they were like, yo, people are not spending after the whole so-called Christmas thing. A lot of people are not spending money. So in order for them to stimulate the economy, at least to close on the fourth quarter, they say, yo, there's going to be a snowstorm. It's going to be mad crazy. It's going to be cold. So people did what? Naturally, oh shit, I have to prepare. Went to a grocery store yesterday evening just to pick up a few items. We get there, there's long ass lines. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why is there so many people here? And there are certain shelves that you go into, empty, bro. Empty. Like the water shelves, the toilet paper shelves, all them shits is empty. And we didn't go in there for that. We went in there for regular stuff that we're going to use for last night, and that's about it, right? Because we were sitting there thinking, oh man, this winter storm is about to be so crazy, like how they showed on the TV. We don't watch TV. So whenever they push the news media bullshit, we kind of circumvent that because we know what's going on. All right. We understand that shit is about to get really, really crazy, really, really bad, really, really fast. All right. And people are preparing for the wrong things. You're prepared. You got the wrong preparation, got the wrong mindset for the wrong thing. All right. And when you do that, what happens is you fail 100% because you failed to prepare. Okay. So now you're preparing to fail. All right. This winter storm doesn't end there. It's just the beginning of sorrows. As the Lord said, we've seen all the things that leads to the beginning of sorrows. We've seen it all. The earthquakes in diverse places. We've seen the wars and rumors of wars. We'll continue to see that now. Okay. We're seeing the buildup for pestilence. We just had that back 5 years ago, 6 years ago already. Time is flying. Okay. So all the end time prophecies are all lining up and they all say the same thing. This isn't good. This isn't good. There's a time of evil. So when we see countries like all these countries coming together at Davos and you got Trump pushing for this concept of peace, we know it's all bullshit because according to biblical prophecy, this is how we see the end commence. Okay, this is how we see the end commence. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So could this winter storm be sudden destruction? It's going to affect 2/3 of American population. Okay, and we know according to prophecy, 2/3 of the nation of Israel is going to be destroyed on this side. So it's all spiritual. It's all spiritual, man. All right, but I want to get this quick precept here. All right, I did quote it, but I want to read it outright. All right, this is the book of Mark, chapter 13 and verse 18. It says, and pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. Simple. Okay. Pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. Now, we pray because the Lord could have it where whoever you may be, right? Your flight could be different, right? We talked about this in class the other day, right? Jacob's trouble could hit in so many different ways where just like in the time of Egypt, when the plagues were hitting, every single time it hit, the Israelites were good, right? Back then, the Israelites were known as the elect at that time. So when the hell was coming towards the Egyptians, the elect were good, right? The Israelites were good. When the darkness came, we had light. When the Lord was killing off their cattle, he left us alone. We had our cattle, we were all fine. When the boils was coming, the frogs, all that shit that was happening, the Israelites were good. Same thing's going to be happening here again, but this time it's focused more on the elect, okay? The elect are going to be the ones to weather the storm, so to speak. Why? Because we have external forces that's going to help us out, okay? We know we don't have the actual physical capabilities to stop everything that's coming, right? It's even survival's coming. That's why we cast our cares to the Lord. Like, Lord, we pray to you that when the time comes, you're going to help us out, right? So the Lord could have it where your flight, you might have to flee a city or a town or whatever the case may be, but he might do it where the wintertime, he might attack places like Minnesota or wherever, that he might have to attack. And then the springtime, where it's no winter, he might just say, okay, now I'm coming for New York. And then you could flee and it's not going to be too much of a hassle. It's going to be a hassle, but it's not going to be too bad. Okay, compared to somebody who's going to be getting attacked in the wintertime. You see what I'm saying? So it could happen. It could happen within a span of 6 months where it's just straight chaos. Okay, and then the next 6 months, they bring in the sea hip. Who knows, right? But it could happen that fast, that quickly, that much shit happening all at once. Okay, so we don't take anything lightly, man. We've seen these things. We filter it through the scriptures, but we also understand that, yes, there are certain things that's written in the Bible that's going to play out exactly how it's written. We just pray that it doesn't affect us negatively. Okay, that's the whole point, because a lot of people sit around and they just think, oh, the Bible is just a book of fairy tales. But then we're living the reality of the Bible to a point where you have those who can see and they're like, yo, this is biblical prophecy. Like, this is the end, like da-da-da. But they don't understand, like, they can't put it all together, basically, right? They can put a few pieces together because it's evident, right? But they just can't put it all together. And I'll give one more example, and I'm gonna pass it. McCoy and I were speaking yesterday, and we're talking about how the scriptures talk about a woman that travaileth, right? At the end, it's going to be like a woman in travail. And when you look at the stages of pregnancy, when a woman is in her pregnancy stages, you got stages to it, right? We always talk about how the troubles come and they intensify as you get closer to the end. Same thing with a woman in pregnancy. When she's pregnant, initially, nobody could tell. Sometimes she can't even tell she's pregnant, right? When you have conception and everything going on, sometimes she can't even tell that she's pregnant. It takes time. And then eventually, as months go by, everybody in the neighborhood could tell that the lady's pregnant. Why? Because it's showing. The belly it starts to get bigger, right? And then as she gets closer to the day of labor, what happens? She starts going through her contractions, start going through the pains. It doesn't stop until the deliverance is done, right? So it's the same thing. It's a beautiful analogy that the scripture uses to compare to times that we're in and the times that we're about to enter into, which is at first, you have very few people that know, because you know that, oh, this lady's going to get pregnant. That's the prophecies. We know, okay, this is about to get bad. So the prophets know, right? Everybody else, they don't know because they don't see it happening. And then as the months go by, they start seeing the belly start growing. They're like, oh shit, like, yo, shorty pregnant? Like, oh shit, she's pregnant. She is pregnant, right? It goes from doubt to certainty real quick, right? Within a month of 3 months, a span of 3 months, you go from, nah, it looked like maybe she just bloated, to now, oh yeah, she definitely, oh, she might have twins in there. God damn, her belly grew fast, right? And then now it's like, okay, boom. And then as the months go by, you start seeing the belly get bigger and bigger. It becomes so evident, the whole community knows this lady's pregnant. It's the same thing right now. The whole world is seeing, yo, this thing is about to go down. But most people don't understand what is going to happen when this thing goes down. They don't understand that part. They just see it as, oh, just another lady that's pregnant. We see it that she's pregnant. But they don't put the pieces together and say, hold on, her pregnancy right here is the most pivotal pregnancy, because once she pops, it's over for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We are the ones that can see that and sit back and say, yo, get your shit and move, because once it pops, it's over with. And you got people just sitting around like, yeah, whatever. Hey, they say hi to a pregnant lady. This lady, you want to see her pregnant. She's pregnant. Now what? The whore is finally pregnant. Now what? We in trouble. You know, who's the father? Right? What kind of child is going to come out of this? All these different things. Okay. That's all part of the calamities that's going to befall America, Babylon the Great. Okay. And then the elect are going to be delivered from it. Remember, your only sense of grace in this world is the elect. Without the elect, ain't no mercy, ain't no grace, ain't nothing left. You see? That's why it's so important to be of the elect. If you're of the elect, you're good. All right, but I'm gonna pass it. Y'all brothers got it.
Yeah, go ahead, Shalom.
Yeah, Khan, just wanted to get into essentially what you brothers would get into about preparation, seeing how people is, preparing for this winter storm. Let's see how it goes and things like that. But like even my mother, right, I'll use jumping off of the example Aharon was given. My mother, she went out and got a whole bunch of fish, tuna, and all that type of stuff. And they're preparing just in case that, oh, if you can't go to the store, at least your house is stocked up on stuff. But what about you being spiritually prepared, right? There is a thing of being carnally prepared, which, yeah, just to quote the precept, not saying that it's talking about that, but Apostle Paul talks about bodily exercise profit, right? It profits little, but godliness is profitable unto essentially, it benefits you in this world and in the world to come. So spiritual preparation is better than carnal preparation. Yes, there's nothing wrong with getting yourself prepared or having a couple of things in the house if something bad was to happen, right? Let's say the winter storm is bad to where people can't go to work, things is really terrible out there. There's nothing wrong with that, but having spiritual preparation, having your mental right for the times coming ahead is a lot more profitable unto having carnal things. That food that you have in your house will run out over time. Let's say things is getting too bad. Eventually, if people don't have strong mental, people start turning on themselves. Oh, yeah, you eating a little bit too much over there. You doing a little bit too much. You need to slow it down and things like that, right? Because why? Their mental is not good. You want to have spiritual preparedness instead, because having a strong mind prepares you for the things that are coming ahead, right? They show you that in like even cartoons, right? The character will look at him like a piece of ham. He'll have the droopy eyes and just looking at him, and then he just visions him as his piece of meat, because up here is not strong. That's what the world has. The world has a weak mind where they're not mentally prepared or spiritually prepared for the things that are happening. If you ever analyze them, what happened at the end of 2019, what did they do? They bought a whole bunch of toilet paper and things like that. Nobody thought, let me spiritually prepare. Let me get close with God. There was nothing like that. It was just a whole, let's just do carnal means. Let's just do carnal things. And that will help me out. But you're coming into a time where carnal means are going to run out. Having an abundance of this and that is actually going to be a detriment to you. having a bunch of food, having a bunch of this, because why? If people know, or that one movie, what was it? Leave the World Behind, if I'm not mistaken. When the dude was preparing, he saw the gathering a whole bunch of people watch, people pay attention. If they see you coming into your apartment or coming into your home with a whole bunch of stuff, people know what houses to hit. Especially if you're a person that has been flaunting, you look good and all that, you dressing nice, you always going places. People are already gonna look at you as like, oh, well, you got it. You got money. So when things get difficult, I know what house to hit. I know where to go. See, but having that spiritual preparedness, like the brother Aharon was mentioning about during the time when we was in Egypt, if you're of the elect, the Lord's going to cover you. He's going to make sure that you're good. Nobody's going to come into your house. Or if the Lord needs to, he'll remove you and put you someplace safe. Again, spiritual preparedness is better than carnal preparedness. But just wanted to land back off of that. And just in case, copyright, just in case if anything I said sounded good. Whatever I said, that's for me for a lesson, just in case.
I just got a scripture. This is the book of your brothers can hear me? God. This is the book of Colossians chapter 3 and 2, and it reads, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. So like you should really be thinking about the truth, the things, spiritual things, not carnal things. And you can really see where people's minds are at because like this sort of like panic that's been going on because of the storm since like Wednesday. You know, Costco has been packed all day, and it usually isn't like that. Usually it's packed like weekends, but since like Wednesday, it's been hella people and items have been running out within the first 3 hours of it opening. You know, people acting like animals, and you have even some of the members that were trying to fight the employees because of the items running out that wasn't there anymore. Like they couldn't do anything about it, but you know, the members kept insisting that there was some in the back and some shit like that. People going crazy. And you know, as the brother was saying, spiritual preparation is better than carnal preparation. So yeah, you can really see where people's minds are at, you know. And I have another scripture. This is the book of Luke 21 and 36, and it reads, watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be able to, yeah, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Right, watch and pray, not go out and buy carnal goods. Again, it's not a bad idea to buy a little and just hold it, but you shouldn't like put your all into it, you know? No, that's about it.
Yeah, Con, that's a good point. And you know what? When you said that, actually, I just thought about how, the Lord is looking at these people like a lot of them stand close to zero chance. Matter of fact, negative chances of even surviving because they act so fearless, and yet you look at how they behave in small matters, and they're very fearful, right? They run up in there, oh, yeah, no, I got to get this. Why? Because they fear that it's what's that? FOMO, fear of missing out. In this case, what if the storm hits and the power goes out and I don't have a flashlight? Or, what's this going to shut down the world for 5 days, for 10 days, and maybe there's no food and water. So I need to have everything here. And they think that by doing so, now they're good. All of a sudden, you have an extra bag of rice, and now, you're immune to famine, you're immune to pestilence, you're immune to your building collapsing on you. Like, this is what people think, and they don't understand that the same threats, how credible, or at least how realistic these threats seem to them, or these dangers seem to them, the prophecies are just the same, but they just don't see it like that. So when reality sets in and they start to see just how bad the prophecies actually are, they're gonna wonder and say, wait, so this is what you guys were talking about the whole time? And you guys like weren't losing your minds over it? Because this is something that if these people actually knew and the Lord opened their eyes and they saw and realized what was actually about to happen and what it meant for them, they would lose their minds, literally. And so as they start to experience it, they're going to look and say, how is it that you were not losing your minds knowing all of these things? We didn't know these things. That's why we were just going about like it was willy-nilly. but you guys knew. It's like when you go to the gym or you exercise or you work out, and you are used to the kind of things you do, right? You're used to the kind of workouts that you have and so on. And there are others that look at it from outside looking in, and it just looks normal. Oh yeah, no, that's just some leg press. That is a hack squat, Michelle. There's some squats right there, until they actually do it. And then it's like a whole different world, because now they actually see and experience what you're experiencing. And then they start to wonder, how is it that you did this shit with just a regular face on? This is hell. So when these people start to experience what hell is actually like, they're going to realize how much they lacked, how much they didn't really know. And they're going to realize that the fearless act, that if I die, I die. If it gets too bad, I'm just not going to take it anymore. I'm just going to jump off a building or something like those things they say because they're actually delusional. All right. Reality is you're delusional. You're saying that because it's like somebody that's full talking about, man, I don't think I can eat anymore. And somebody that's hungry saying I can eat a whole cow. No, you can't. You can eat a whole cow. If they gave you 2 burgers, 2 nice thick sized burgers, you'd be full. What happened to the whole cow? Right. So it's people speaking from a perspective of not knowing, but speaking like they're experts. Oh, I don't got to worry about that. When that happens, I'm going to do this. No, you don't know what you're going to do when that happens. When that happens, I'm going to jump off a building. Do you know what it takes to actually jump off a building? Do you know what that means for you? People go from proud to humble very quickly when their life is on the line. And you think you're going to have the courage to take your own life in that time? People don't realize what it actually takes. People that go and, delete themselves, they get to a point, right, of such great despair that, and then obviously demons on top of that despair far outweighs any merit that they would have for continuing to go on. And ultimately, if the Lord says it's time to go, it's time to go. But remember what the scriptures say, just as it happened before when it was prophesied to happen, going back to Revelation, dealing with World War I, it'll happen again, where that desire, people will desire to die. They will seek death and they won't be able to find it. That's why the Lord said, don't fear him that can kill the body and then that's it, but one that can kill the body and soul, right, in hell. So the Lord can put you in a hellish condition to where you wish that you would just die and then you can't. You wish that it would just be over quickly and it's not. And just as you think you're about to die, somebody just revives you just so you can continue on living in this hell. There's some people that go through that, and you're like, no, just let me die. But no, the Lord's like, no. It's not your time to go just yet. You're going to live through this and endure trauma after trauma after trauma after pain after suffering. And it never gets easier and it never gets better. And there's nobody there to comfort you. That's what people are going to get. This is the book of Haran mentioned this earlier. I think you mentioned that the only grace is the elect. Okay, the elect are the ones that are going to be able to weather the storm. And just like the Lord did back in ancient Egypt, when you read these words, it sounds like pages, words on a page, right? Pages in a book. But we're talking about Egypt. Imagine America, right? When people think about Egypt, they probably think of some like smallish. No, Egypt was like the America of its time at that time. So when you have plagues hitting it, it's like how today people are making a fuss over this snowstorm that's coming. But imagine plagues of frogs jumping and going up and everywhere. Imagine the firstborns of everybody in America that died. They had the CV cases, and it wasn't even a fraction of the population of one state. And they were making a big fuss over it. What do you think it would look like if everybody's firstborn, including the animals, all died? It would have been a very big deal. So when we read about what the Lord did in ancient Egypt, it was a big deal. You were not there, so it may not have seemed like it, but it was a very big deal. And the Lord says, what he's going to do here is going to far surpass that. You have to actually visualize that. Don't take the words of the Lord for granted. The Most High, when he says something, he means it. If a short season to him is freaking 2,000 plus years, and then he's telling you that this is going to be a time like never before, what do you think that actually means? So this is 2 Ezra chapter 2, verse 27. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. And we're not going to have to labor for that abundance. We're seeking the kingdom of God now. The Lord is going to take care of that abundance for us. These people are laboring for the abundance, and they're going to end up having none. And why are they going to be weeping and be sorrowful? Because they're going to be confused. They're going to be afraid. All the things that they're doing now is showing, it's a foreshadowing of the times to come. They are relying on carnality. And the scriptures tell you that if the footmen have wearied thee, how much more for the horses, right? How are you going to contend with the horses? Right now, this is nothing. This is like the like Yahushua said, the beginning of sorrows. Beginning. It's just starting. It's like when you do something wrong, and before you even get hit, your father comes home and you're already crying. He didn't even get the belt out yet, and you're already crying. If you're crying now, what you gonna do when the first, you know what I'm saying, the first lash touches your back? You know, they give you that your little back up and shit. You know, and you got about 39 more to go. you know, you're gonna be in a very painful mindset. But that's what these people are gonna be in. The first taste of the Lord's whip, wham! Their eyes gonna open. They're gonna realize, wait, oh shit, okay, and this is what you're about to now endure for the next God knows how long. But for the elect, as it says here, you're gonna be merry and have an abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hands shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell, right? Which represents the grave or death. So we're gonna be preserved from now going all the way up into the kingdom. The Lord already got everything positioned. If you notice, during the time of the New Testament, the Lord never really needed to go back home every night, but yet he always had somewhere to stay. He always had something provided for him, and he would always tell his disciples, he's like, look, go into the city and then go and unloose this colt, and if they ask you, just say the Lord has need of it. And they're like, well, I mean, these are some strangers' property, but whatever they needed, they always had. He said, go and tell them the master, has needed a place to eat the Passover. Boom. Oh, the master said it. Cool. And it's just like the Lord has servants in different areas that are set up, appointed to take care of you. We don't need to worry about that. So when that time comes, whether it's FEMA troops, whether it's ICE agents, whether it's famines, whatever the case is, the Lord has positioned agents of righteousness in certain areas to take care of you. And you will end up in those areas without even knowing. You just stumble across this area and, oh yeah, we've been expecting you. Come on in. We got a place for you. You can stay here for now. So the Lord got everything set up. It says here, actually, I'm going to stop on this verse. You brothers got it.
Hey, I want to say one thing. I'm going to pass it to you, Ayash. You made a point about, the Costco and how people are storming in there and try to even fight the people because they believe that there's still something left back there. Like, I drove all the way here and the shelves are empty. What do you mean? Like, you ain't got nothing in the back at all? That is a sign of desperation. That's a sign of somebody who has nothing and came at the end where everybody's rushing for that one thing. And that's how the truth is going to be like, as is written in the book of Amos, the 8th chapter, about how they're going to wander from sea to sea, right? Looking for the word of the Lord. And also tells you in the book of Proverbs, the 1st chapter, right, that they're going to seek the Lord early, but they shall not find him, right? And that's human nature. When they have time to do something, they sit around, dick around, fuck around, waste time, joke around, act like, oh, it's nothing, it's always going to be there. Until the day when it's not there, all of a sudden, they can make time for it. When the word of the Lord was abundantly, readily available for you, right, week in, week out, daily edifying, bro. You got brothers bringing out videos, preach. I mean, I'm talking about like so much you can't even keep up, bro. That's how much food is out there. It's in abundance, okay? And it's all healthy food. Brothers, quality videos. You watch it, you be like, damn, that's heavy. I didn't even. Oh wow, shit, that's heavy. You're always learning something, man. Always something new that you learn, okay? And what do people do? They just walk past like it's nothing. Remember when we first came into the truth, we were baffled by that. Like, you mean to tell me that you got these men out there? Whether it's cold, whether it's hot, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, they're out there and they're giving word out for free. They don't charge you. They don't say, oh, come here, pay this. And this is high level knowledge. You're not even going to go to college to go learn this shit. You be in debt, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, come out of school and you don't even learn a damn thing that these men out here on the streets are teaching for free. And we used to get mad that people are walking past and not even saying, hey, good morning. How you guys doing? Or you want some tea? Or yeah, let me give you that. I'm like, give them at least an audience. Let them know that they're actually being heard. At least that. You know what I'm saying? And people just walk past like it's nothing until we came into the truth and we figured, oh, that's how it is. This truth isn't for the masses. It's only for the elect. Like it's one of those, it's so precious that you actually have to look for it to find it. Even though it's right there in front of you, you have to be looking for it. If not, it's not even going, you're not even going to hear it. Remember, we used to be like, I used to play videos in the house of brothers speaking, and my brother be in the same room, and he's not even going to hear what's being said. And I'm like, yo, you don't hear this? He's like, yo, you always playing this stuff. Why are you always playing this stuff? Because he doesn't even hear what's being said. Even though he can hear it, he's not hearing it. Okay? It's the same thing. It's so spiritual and heavy how that works. And then once he started to hear it, he was able to hear everything. It's like, oh, everything he was saying is true. I get it. Like, I finally got it. It's the same thing with this truth, man. If the Lord don't want you hearing it, you're not going to hear it until it's too late where you're looking for it. Then you're not going to find it. And that's the prophecy. So all those people that ran to Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club at the last minute where everybody is rushing to get there, whether you're going there for gas because you need it, it's all essential. Whether you're going there for water, toilet paper, whatever, candles, flashlights, you're doing it at the time where you weren't supposed to be doing that. At that time, it's too late. At that time, you should have been had all this shit. Okay, you shouldn't be in line trying to go get gas when it's time where everybody's trying to get gas. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay, we seen silver skyrocket. It's so crazy. Remember, we talked about this shit like a month ago. We're like, yo, we got to make moves now before this shit go up. Right now, this shit is at the point where if you didn't make your moves earlier, now you're looking at it like, damn, like I missed a window of opportunity to make my move. And that's how it's going to be. 2026 is going to be the year where a lot of shit is going to be happening where people are going to be like, yo, I missed my window of opportunity. That was a few years ago. The things that's happening now, you can't really do nothing about it, but brace yourself. That's the title. Brace yourself. All right. This is the time where the impact happens. This is the last minute where you're going to a store and everybody's there and there's nothing for them. Everyone is there for one thing, but that one thing is done. It's out of there. So why are we all here? We just going to find something else to suffice? No, there's nothing that's going to suffice. If you're going there for gas, you're not going to buy water and say that's enough. It's going to replace gas. No, nigga, you want gas. You need gas, right? If you're there for bread, you're not going to say, oh, well, I'm going to just take cheese instead of bread. No, nigga, you need the bread, right? So whatever it is that you need, in this case, everyone is going to be the truth. You see how precious now the word of the Lord sounds? It's going to be so much more precious when the time comes where you don't have access to it, where everybody's rushing for the same exact thing and it's not there. What do? Chaos ensues, man. Violence happens. People lose their minds. Okay, especially these American people. You don't want to be around them when there's nothing to get. You don't want to be around these people because they act senseless when everything is in abundance. How much more when there's nothing there, right? So we already know where this is all leading to, right? I'm gonna get this quick precept and I'm gonna pass it to you, Ayash. All right, this is a book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 24. It says, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded, right? And that's when everything was on the shelves. The Lord's house was stocked with food, groceries, everything you could ever ask for. It's all there. All he said was just walk in here and take as much as you need. Just take it all. I'm always going to keep stocking and replenishing. So take it now that you can. Just hope that you have enough space to save it up. That's how much abundance the Lord is giving. And what happened? You got people not even paying attention. People walking around just acting like it's all good. People are scoffing at it. Like, what am I going to need all this for? Man, y'all talk about this truth shop. I don't need that, man. You know what I'm saying? I got this going on. Sound like Anton Daniels. I got more money than you. Stupid ass nigga. Now where your money going to end up at? You got all this money, but you don't, the resource that you need to spend the money on, you don't got the resources. Now what? Now what? You going to sell your money now for resources? Come on, bro. It's over with. It says, verse 25, but ye have set at naught all my counsel, not even some, all. That's a wicked ass nigga for you, man. Sound like Esau. All right. It says, and would none of my reproof, meaning you rejected all the Lord's corrections, man. Everything that the prophets were saying to you, it was like bullshit. Like, fuck out of here. Y'all always got something to say, right? Y'all always, yeah, exactly. And Falcon said free. So like, yeah, get out of here with that shit. I'm not trying to hear that. You know, these are the words of the Lord, right? It says what? I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. So I'm not going to do it when you still have a chance to be okay. Nah, I'm going to do it when you ain't got no way out. And that's when I'm going to start mocking you. That's an ultimate Jake for you, man. That's a Jake that's like, he been holding it in for a minute and now he finally got you. You know how they do. When Jake go on a roast session, they cook you to the bone where you just like, damn, bro, like it's like you start laughing, then you start crying because it's like, damn, like the roast is so deep. It's like, shit, man, like, damn, bro, you ain't got no comebacks. you can't even sit there to think because it's just rapid fire. Like every cooking is like, damn, like he took the cook I was going to use. Like he just took it out of my mind. Like you got no way to rebel. No way to rebuttal. Nothing at all. And what's going to happen when people in that situation? They cry. Okay. Like Van Jones. Van Jones on TV talking about, all you do is just sit there and then you cry. I'm like, this bitch ass nigga gonna cry. You know? But that's what's gonna be happening. You got your wife is crying, your children are crying, you sitting there, you supposed to be the strength of the house. Now you crying in front of them, talking about give me your shoulder so I can cry on your shoulder. Fuck out of here, nigga, you weak ass bitch. You should have been prepared. Not sitting around scoffing, talking about we don't need this. I got more money than you. Yeah, well, that's now it's time. The Lord's like, okay, use your money to save yourself then. Okay? Your money that don't mean nothing because now you need a tip. Right? It says, verse 27 says, when your fear cometh as desolation, right? So it's like a storm, it's taking you over, right? And your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, right? When distress and anguish cometh upon you. So I'm gonna wait till that time, that pivotal time where you need some type of reprieve. That's when I'm gonna come in and lay it on you thick, right? Verse 28, it says, then shall they call upon me, right? Because they've exhausted all their options. They see that, yo, where I'm going right now, I need God. Yeah, I need Jesus. Oh, guess what? God and Jesus need God and Jesus. So who needs who? You need help, right? It says, but I will not answer. Whew, that's cold. That is cold. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. And how is the Lord going to fulfill this? Through his prophets. Okay? Imagine that ass looking for a man of the Lord like, yo, I know they used to come here all the time. Every Saturday they were right here. I used to pass by them all the time. The most I'll do is just pass by and just be like, yo, y'all doing a good thing, all right? And walk away like it ain't nothing going on. You've had dudes, I remember this. You had dudes come up and be like, yo, I'm going to come by next week. Where they at? They never showed up next week. Yo, y'all doing a good thing. Like, oh, I'm going to come back next week. I'm going to take some notes. I'm going to study. Like, y'all got the truth. Where you at? Next week, we were there. Were you there? No, you weren't. You see? So the Lord called. He put out the bait. He said, yo, here you go. Take as much as you need. And you had niggas just kicking that shit. Kick dust on it. Right? Man, fuck out of here. What you talking about? Give me all that. Man, I don't want this, man. I'm going to go my way. I'm going to go get my own shit my way, man. And then the time has come where the Lord is like, well, okay, cool. Hey, all my elect, those who took the things that I offered you, now you're good. I'm going to shield you. I'm going to take care of you. And now let them suffer. That's it. Let them suffer because I don't care about them. Right? I don't care about them. This last one here, this is a book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil's days come not. Okay, while the evil days come not, meaning you have a time to make your moves. Before the times of evil that we're in right now, you can't make your moves these times, man. Even traveling has become a hazard. When you're traveling, you're thinking like, yo, the plane could fall out the sky because that's what's been happening lately. Or you could just be driving to the airport, fucking ice pull you over, and all of a sudden your whole day has changed, right? Shit like that. It's like the times that we've been talking about is here. Okay, it only intensifies from here. So while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Okay, so that pleasure in them is what? When you're able to just live life lavishly, live in the American so-called nightmare that's been presented to you as a dream, and you live in it, right? All this shit, people have pleasure in these things. They have pleasure in these things. But now we're in the time where, hey, shalom, bro, we're in the time where all those pleasures are turned into sorrows. Right? All the manna has now started to get rotten. Now you're sitting there like, shit, man, what the fuck? I must have saved up the wrong thing. Yeah, you didn't build up your spiritual bank account. That's the most important. We kept saying it for years. Without the spiritual bank account, like, there's nothing you could do, bro. If let's say you're walking with a bunch of people, right? And all of you get hungry at the same time. Guess what? It's your spiritual bank account that's going to provide you that food. It's not the amount of money that you have. You may have money, but guess what? What if the place that you're at, they don't even deal with that kind of money? Now what? Right? But if you have that favor in the spiritual bank account, you can get there. And guess what? They might have food sitting there readily available for you because the Lord put that spirit on them to do that. Like Bakar, like the example you gave, right? It's the Lord who's orchestrating all this. So the more you have in your spiritual bank account, the more favors you're going to be getting in the time when you need it. You see what I'm saying? You stocked up enough treasure where when the time comes, you can actually go into that bank account and pull what you actually need. Right? Things right now as it is, if you have money in the bank, nigga, you better go start taking your money out because when them bank runs happen, you fucked. Right? When the value of the money is going down and silver is going up and gold is going up and the dollar is going down, all that money you have saved up, I got $200,000 in my bank account. Well, that shit don't mean nothing right now. $200,000 right now is nothing compared to 5 years ago. So what are we doing? It's either you're going to convert it to silver and gold and have that actually grow for you or mean something for you, or you're just going to be sitting there thinking about, all you see is that number, $200,000, and you think you're good money. Guess what? $200,000 soon is going to be like, they're going to use that shit to light up, to maintain the heat. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we just need some, it's cold out here. Let's put some paper together. All right. Yeah. You got how much you got on there? Yeah. Let's use that. You're not going to buy nothing with that. You're going to be using that to set some fire to warm your ass up. That's how worthless this money is going to be. And meanwhile, the men of the Lord, the elect, those who are going to be with us, we're going to be good, man. All right. Because that's a promise that the Lord gave the elect. And that's the faith that we have. When shit was good, we kept that faith. Now shit's about to be bad. You don't think that faith is going to be on an all-time high? Come on, man. Right? It says here, while the sun and the light or the moon or the stars it says, be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Right? So before the dark times come, you're going to be set. You're going to be good. You got the virgins that are trimming their lamps, all that. You get all that ready to go. Okay? That ant that's always been preparing during the summertime before the rainy season comes. We are those ants, man. Right? We built that colony. We built everything. We're set, ready to go. Right? Because we've seen the patterns. We study the history. We know the prophecies. How are you not going to be prepared if you have all those things? And you have the faith of the Lord and the wisdom of the Lord, you're going to be good, man. You solid. Isaiah 33:6. All right? But yeah, you got it, bro.
Khan, when brothers are talking about, people feeling very confident about their future because of the, carnal wealth. A precept that popped into my mind was the book of Isaiah, the 40th chapter, verse 16. It says, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering, right? And that is to say that, if you were to go and amass as much resources as you can, whether it's wood to create, fire for burnt offering, or whether it's all the fucking cattle in over there in Israel, or build as much altar, take all the stones in that land and build an altar in that land, you still would not be able to recompense the works of the Lord on our behalf. And that's because, one of the most important warnings that the Most High gave us was that man shall not live by bread alone. And Yahushua quoted that when he was tempted by Satan. He quoted that. And when you go into the original text in the book of Deuteronomy, the Most High quoted that by saying, you got to understand that if anything is to manifest for you carnally, even food to satisfy your soul, it's because you have pleased me. You understand? If you are going to have anything that isn't spiritual, it's because, you have pleased me. So make sure that you understand that the most important thing in life isn't just so you can go eat. Isn't just so you can do a 9-to-5 job and pay your bills and move on and have a fucking Netflix account. That's not the most important thing in life. The most important thing in life, Jake, PlayStation, they ain't going to listen to nothing as long as they got that. But that's not the most important thing in life. The most important thing is to please the Lord. And as we keep moving forward in time, when the Lord started testing man, we've seen less and less, especially now. We have not really seen spiritual acts being made manifest as often as it was in the ancient times. And so people's memories have died down, and all they think about is the carnal things and the carnal things. And so when you tell them about the spiritual things, and you tell them, hey, it doesn't matter what you have. If you don't please the Lord will strip all these things away from you. And eventually you will be destitute, and you'll be desperate, and you will be mocked. When your fear cometh as a desolation, it's impossible for people to grasp it. And I have here in the book of Revelations, oh, come on. Is it the 3rd chapter? Let me right, Revelation chapter 3, verse 17, it says, because thou sayest, I am rich, and increaseth with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked. I counsel thee to buy me gold tried in fire, that thou mayest be rich. So if there's one thing that only motivates you, if it's riches, then you gotta understand that there's a better riches, a longer lasting riches, that if riches is the only motivation, go and amass that. Some people do it because we love the Lord, we want to please the Lord, but it should make, if your ideals is only to amass riches, then what we're given here is the greatest riches of all time, is the most valuable thing that a man could ever have, right? The scripture says that what? It keepeth the soul. It keeps you in the day, from the day of what? Of calamity, right? The scripture says that what? The riches of this world does not deliver from judgment. But guess what? The knowledge of the Lord and knowing how to live to please the Lord, which is the scriptures, that in fact will take you through to the other side. And so this is, in a sense, riches. I don't know why people see a man of the Lord who dedicates his life to the Lord, and they look at him and they call him a bum. How can you think that? This man has the greatest wealth in the entire world. You have no idea the amount of wealth that he has amassed. We are the most wealthy people on the planet, in the universe, because we have the Lord on our side, because we understand, because we know the mysteries, right? That's why we see the things happening around us, and instead of being like the fucking world and thinking about the stocks and all, let me invest here, and people in Babylon, let me move to Europe. They moved to Europe. Look at what happened. Now they're about to be at war with America, and they're trying to move back. They don't know what the fuck to do. They're all over the place. People move to Africa, and then I know some shit happens, and the riches that they thought they had, all the money die out. Now they're just as poor as these guys over there. People go over there, they get hit by disease. People go over, you go to another land, it gets hit by war. Because what? Because you didn't have the stability, the true stability, to where no matter your circumstances, you will be good. Comes from the scriptures, right? And so it says, I counsel thee to buy me gold tried in fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So Yahushua puts this, describes this as wealth. And to your point, Bukhara, about how those who are in the Lord, things always seems to work out well for them if they go out and if they dedicate their life to the Lord. They really don't have to worry about their daily necessities. Well, we have here the book of Mark, the 6th chapter, verse 7. It says, and he called unto him the 12, and began to send them forth 2 by 2, and gave them power over unclean spirits, and commanded them that they should take nothing for their journey, save a staff only, no scrip, no bread, nor money, no money in their purse, but that the shod be, but he shod with sandals, and not put on 2 coats, right? It says, and he said unto them, in what place whatsoever ye enter into a house, there abide till ye depart from that place. So that was their faith. When because they were pleasing the Lord, the Most High had it to where wherever they went, they were what? They were kept. And it wasn't until the will of the Lord that they be martyrs for his name's sake, that any man was able to put them to death. But up until that point, they were good. And in these last days, when the Lord says he's going to show us the salvation and glorify us, and glorify himself in the eyes of these heathens, he's going to do that, by saving us, and he's going to do it spectacularly. And then people are actually going to see, like Aran was saying, when people look at stocks and say, oh man, I wish that I missed that opportunity, people are actually going to see the manifestation of the work that we did in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to see, oh, it's because this guy was doing this. You remember when I saw this guy on this street? Well, that day, that specific day, I think that's when the Most High gave him this planet. And they, oh man, I wish I would have been there that day and I would have done the same thing. Then I would have, but now you're nothing in the kingdom. You're of low stature, And so the ultimate thing here is that there's only one thing there's only one kind of riches where if you have, there's no stopping you. And that is the riches of the Lord, And so people out here with that, it's gonna be hilarious. Just like I think in the group chat was Zaquan posted a video of this dude where he had like a whole bunch of money in crypto, and then he fucking deleted his password, and he was yeah, I think he deleted his password, and he lost all that, and he was, oh no, he's damn Edomite. I'm like, look at this guy, so scared of poverty, you know what I mean? And that's pretty much all humans. We can't stand, but we fucking hate poverty. And so naturally, if you're a wise person, if you think you're a wise person, then the ultimate thing to do is to live for Yahweh Shem Yahshai. You know, and you know, these are just a few precepts that popped up in my mind, and you know, to back up the point that the brothers already made. That's on that.
Hey, Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatham. I have a precept to add to the brother Ayash's point. The precept is Proverbs 11:4. I'm on the road right now. If a brother could pull it up, I would appreciate that. I'm about to pull up. I'm about to park up though, so I should be good to bring out other precepts in a moment.
Proverbs 11:4.
Yeah,
It reads, "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death."
See, so that was it. But as the brother was breaking down that, you know, people don't understand the value of what we're actually doing. They just see us and they're not looking at, you know, what's beyond, you know, or what's the power behind us that has us doing what we're doing. They just see a bunch of, in their words, they would describe us as crazy niggas on the street, you know, wearing these peculiar garments, you know, and speaking things that they don't understand. But if they truly understood and knew what we're about to inherit, everybody would be throwing on a garment and trying to be right there along with us. You see? But again, as the scripture said, riches profit not in the day of wrath. And it's times like this where you have generational moments like this ice storm, you know, which is like one of those storms that they're going to say, oh, the storm of 93. That was a big one. You know, that one back in 93 stretched out across like the whole coast. You know, it was a tremendous storm. Hundreds of people died, probably more. That's the official count. And you have other storms, you know, the 96. You know, I was just going into these documentaries, looking at blizzards and different things, just marveling at the works of the Lord. And, you know, now we have this in 2026, and they were noticing how there's a pattern. It's always in a 6, a year with a 6 at the end of it. But, you know, I was analyzing, I'm like, you know, it's times like this where people understand that the riches that they have can only bring them so far. Now everybody wants to call on the Most High. Now everybody wants to ask for the Lord's deliverance. And there's another scripture in Wisdom of Solomon, if a brother could find it, he could bring it out, about providence, that they were not given the Lord's providence. I'm paraphrasing it. And then if we could look up the word providence as well, because that's what we have, you know, as the servants, the hopeful servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We don't panic when things happen, because these things are affecting us as well. All right. You know, we're not just sitting up here, you know, up in a house in the sky somewhere without being affected. We're affected by these calamities. The difference is that we give our burden and our cause unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And we say unto the Lord that, you know, our soul, our spirit is in your hands, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And we know that, you know, according to your word. And then we remind the Lord of things that he's promised us, you see? And that is signed, sealed, delivered, man, because the Lord is not a man that he should lie. So that's when you bring into remembrance, which the Lord doesn't need to be put into remembrance. It's just a figure of speech, how the scriptures phrase it at times. But then you will bring these things up to the Lord, that Lord, in your word, it says that your servants will eat. Lord, in your word, it says that this and that. So according to that, and in the midst of that, you're building your own faith up, you know, according to these different things that's written in your word, you know, you're gonna deliver us. Yeah, that's crazy. They just had it in the parking lot. I'm over here, grocery store parking lot. They got like a loudspeaker and cameras all around, and it is a voice just came out. on some it looked like some martial law end of the world shit. But you know, getting back into it, what I was saying is that in those times you call on the Lord and you bring into remembrance the things that the Lord has promised to his servants, and that comforts you. And then you think, well, the Lord brought me through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z and all the way back around again. So, you know, why would I have any reason to believe that the Lord would not provide for me in this situation or protect me in this situation? You know? So, but with people of the world, it's not so. All right. They don't have a connection to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. They can act like they do, they can give lip service. That's Jake. Jake could do that all day long. You know, they'll, you know, with their lips, they honor the Lord. You know, you got songs and different you know, artists that'll talk about the Most High in their music, and then the song is about a whole bunch of wickedness, you know. So, you know, they have this concept that the Lord will love me no matter what, no matter how I am, any way I come, he's gonna love me no matter what. And that's just not how the Most High functions. You have to come a certain way, you have to come correct. You know, as Apostle Gabar says, you can't be crab walking, you can't be coming sideways. You know, you have to come correct. You know, when you come to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, when we come, we have to come correct. So knowing that there's a certain level of conduct the Lord expects, and then when we, you know, when we mess up off of it, we also repent. All right, not to say that we perfect, we mess up and then we repent. But these people in the world, they don't have a sense of that. They don't have a true connection to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So when these things happen, that's why their only solution is carnality. That's why you see the stores flooded, and it's not just going to the store, because we all go to the store. You know, I'm going to the store right now because after this, Lord's will, I'm gonna go get some things that I may need in the next few days. But it's the mindset. It's the mindset, and you can see it on the people as they're in these stores. They're very frantic. They're quick to cut you off, and you know, everybody's ready to fight. Everybody's ready to snap. You know, and that goes to show that they don't have faith. And I was reminding myself as I'm in the store, like, man, let me just keep my cool, because these people will really try to get you out of character, man. You know, but I'm like, if I stoop to that level, then I just become like them. So, you know, we got to maintain our cool and pray to the Lord to give us patience and just be in and out. But being amongst these people, you see, man, they got that 1,000-yard stare in their eyes, man. Like, there ain't shit going on up here. It's just eat, consume, food, toilet, you know, like niggas don't have any connection. There's no spirituality in them towards Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. If there is spirituality, it's demonic. It's on the left hand, right? But they basically have that blank stare and that empty-headedness, and that's what the definition of a fool is, an empty-headed person. All right, and they're all out there like toilet paper and paper towels gonna save them from freezing to death, man. If you was really wise, you would be going to get blankets in case your power goes out. You can cover yourself. They don't even apply to right. You know, even on the carnal level, they don't even know what the fuck they're doing, man. You know, so tying it back into the precept, those riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness. The service of the Lord is what's going to deliver us. That's why in the midst of all this going on, you didn't see us skip out on this camp. All right, you know. Brothers have preparation to do. You know I do for myself, but at the end of the day, if we don't do this and take care of the service of the Lord, any preparation we do is in vain. You see? So we have to take care of what's most important first, man. You know, this is the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and it is the most important thing that we have to do, man. This is you wouldn't go to your job and, you know, just give a weak excuse. You know, you'll show up on time, whatever your boss says, you're going to do it because there's a check tied to it. This one is an eternal check, an eternal investment. And a job is just an investment. You invest your time and then you get something back. This is the same way. But the ROI, the return on investment, is beyond your comprehension, man. Infinite wealth, infinite riches. The main thing is infinite righteousness, man, a righteous rulership. You know, not us not being in these bodies. That's the greatest thing about it. The righteousness of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, us being able to serve him the way he wants to, he deserves to be served. Being perfect, not having ailments, not getting sick anymore, man. Every time we get sick, it's a reminder how much more we need the kingdom. You know, but these people, they don't think like that. They just think about what's right in front of them, and what they're gonna get and how they're gonna get it and who they're gonna step on to get it. You see? So when this shit really hits the fan, you're gonna see these people will reveal themselves for the faithless demons that they are, man. And that's why the earth just needs a reset, man, because we can't have a kingdom. We're not gonna have our kingdom, and it's just a bunch of faithless demons, all right, that have no sense of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and even when they see the power of the Lord, they're gonna say it's on the left hand. You know, that's Satan. Satan gave y'all that power. So what are you gonna do with people like that, man? There's no connection to them to a higher power, so they just need to be taken off the earth, man. But y'all got it.
Hey, Khan, that's
You want that precept? So,
oh, you got it, bro.
brother
Look.
had a-
Oh, I asked you. Yeah. Khan.
No, I mean, if you
Salah,
don't
I
need it,
forgot about that. No, you can bring it out.
So then I wasn't even sure which one was it. Is it Wisdom of Solomon 17 with the Egypt, or
Yeah.
was it
Yeah, I think that's the one.
The Wisdom of Solomon chapter 17, verse 2? It says, "For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, laid there exiled from eternal providence." Keep going.
Khan, if a brother
I looked
could
it
look
up.
up the okay,
Yeah.
the water, perfect.
Yeah.
The word providence, it says here, the protective care of God or of nature as a spiritual power.
Yep, providence, and ultimately, all of these elements that the Lord has, He's in control of it. He's in control of the ice storm. You know, He can have it to where your whole block lose power, and you're the only one that has power, and everybody looking at you like, "Yo, how, man? The whole block has been disconnected from electricity. How do you still have power?" Hey, man, I guess it's divine intervention. You know, because then you're gonna play with them because it's like you don't believe anyway, so you don't need to know why. Just know that I'm good.
Right.
But just an example that the Egyptians were thrown into darkness, and this is an example. This is a precursor to the darkness that's coming, because we know that the Lord is going to plague this place as He did Egypt once again. And this is just an example. It's like the Lord is taking an icy saber and just dragging it through Babylon, man. You know, dragging it through the heart of Babylon and just carving this bitch up with ice and death. You know, and a lot of people are freezing to death as we speak because it's already hidden over there in the Midwest states. Ice, you know, and may the Lord protect the Akim that's out there, man. We know He will, because this has happened before and they was protected, you know? So, you know, I just want to bring that out because the providence of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's the protection, you know, that protection. Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. We call upon the name of the Lord. With our prayers going up today, many brothers are praying. I'm certain of it, you know, that they'll be protected from this, that the Lord will provide for them, and also praying for the Akim out there, you know, that they'll be protected from what's coming, you know. So may the Lord protect you going out and you're coming in. And that's what we do. We pray, we call on the name of the Lord, and that's it. But for people, that's too simple. That's all you doing? Oh, you just gonna pray, right? Oh, all right, man. So I guess just food is gonna fall from the sky, right? Yeah. He did that before, you know? And just a reference to Aharon's point earlier that the money is going to become useless. Scriptures talks about in Ezekiel that their money will be cast in the street. You know, so then what you gonna do? Let's say you stacked up all this paper for the rainy day, like that that Rihanna and Jay-Z song. All right, Umbrella. That song is about a financial calamity. And it's crazy because they make it like a catchy song, but it's really about a financial calamity, because they said that when the rainy days come, they're gonna have the umbrella, which is their covenant with Satan. But that's not gonna protect them. The Lord gonna snap that umbrella, man. All right. And all of you that trust in worldly riches, man, the Lord is gonna snap you, man. He's gonna break the staff of bread in Egypt. All right. He's gonna break you like a jujitsu arm lock. All right. Ayas knows about that.
God.
Y'all got it.
It's crazy because if you go into the 14th chapter, it uses the same word providence, but then it talks about, like, if a man is to ever venture onto the ocean, it's the providence of the Lord that his vessel is not overcome by the elements. So all these things that brothers are saying is actually true. It's kind of like even the example you just brought out, someone thinking that they go out there, they're gonna walk through a storm, I just got to worry about my umbrella, and not worrying that umbrella is one of the most common things that like lightning strikes. You know what I'm saying? And it's elevated, it's metal, and your hand is holding it, so it hits that. It runs right through your body. You know, you do the Harlem Shake for 3 seconds and you're dead. So it's really the providence of the Lord that whatever we do, we come out from the other side living, you know, and the more you go, the further you go in life, and you keep heaping onto yourself iniquity and rejecting the providence of the Lord, or at least insulting, or worse, giving his glory to another, you know, the Most High is going to he's going to flip that switch, and then you're going to realize what it means to not have, you know, his providence anymore.
Hey, I sure you made a point about how the Lord is going to break their umbrella. All right. And it's heavy that you use that example, because that's exactly what's about to happen. Because what does an umbrella do, right? When you think about a simple of a concept as an umbrella is, it's very important. And you don't see the importance of an umbrella until it's raining or snowing, or when you actually need it. Going back to the point of bracing yourself, right? And an umbrella also works kind of like the brain, right? The mind or the brain doesn't work unless it opens up, right? The umbrella, same thing. Umbrella doesn't work unless it's opened up. So you have an umbrella for, you know, protection from the rain or the snow, like I said before. Or sometimes people use umbrella when it gets so hot, the sun is beaming on you. You could put umbrella to kind of protect you from the sun hitting you, and so on and so forth. So people will have an umbrella as a means of protection. Now, what if that protection is gone, right? What if the wind just blows that umbrella, destroys it? Now what? Now you're stuck with the elements that you had the umbrella there to protect you from, those elements. Okay. Now what we're saying is the Lord is those elements that's coming for you, and an umbrella can't save you. In this case, your mind, that's why scriptures tell you that the mind, the heart is deceitful above all things, who can know it? Is desperately wicked, deceitful above all things, who can know it, right? A man's goings of the Lord, how can a man that understand his own way? Same thing. In the sense of, you have people that are planning, right, with evidence of things that's happened in the past, but they don't understand what's actually coming in the future. For example, if you're going to a new destination, right, you've never been there before, how can you map out how the place could look like if you don't have any information on how that place is going to look? What are the signs? What kind of language they speak? What kind of food they have? You have no idea. You have no clue. So you're just going on a journey, and you've prepared. You got bags of this, bags of that, food, this, all these different things you have going on there. And then you get to the gate and they tell you, yeah, over here, these things don't work. We don't use that no more. So once again, you've prepared for something that you have no idea what is needed to prepare for. So what did you really do? And that is the same exact steps that a majority of, I'll say 90% of the people that we know are taking those steps. They, in their mind, they're preparing for something. They're preparing, they're setting up for something. They got the umbrellas. They got multiple umbrellas, different kinds of umbrellas. One umbrella that you could wrap around your head and it just stays around your head. You got umbrellas that you could hold. You put it as a backpack and then it expands and it opens up and then it could, all kinds of shit. Niggas got tents, not fuck umbrella. They got tents, right? But you're going to a destination where you're not even gonna need any of that. All you need is yourself and your God. That's it. Now what? You see, so we're on two completely different trajectories. We're preparing for what's to come, but we are making our bodies the living sacrifice. That sacrifice that everyone has to make, we are making that right now. Okay? And that goes into serving the Lord with fear and trembling, as is written. Okay? When you do that, that's the most important preparation you could make. Fearing the Lord with fear and trembling, or the scriptures tell you, serve the Lord with fear and trembling, rejoice with him in trembling, and so on and so forth. The Apostle Paul talks about that, but he also quoted it from the book of Psalms. King David was saying that. Okay, so we are in that step. When you listen to all these prophecies and you listen to the prophets that spoke about these prophecies, you set yourself up for success. Everything that's coming down the line, you are better prepared for it compared to those who doubt the word of the Lord. You doubt the prophets. You push back against the word of the Lord. Okay. You got, think about this. You got IUIC, you got ISUP, you got all these different camps that the one most important prophecy that's going to tell the difference between who's who. These niggas are saying that it's everything but what it is. Okay, in this late stage in the game. That's why personally I don't even bother talking about these niggas like that, because it's just pointless. Because they have a job to do. As mad as we can get about it, they have a job to do, bro. The Lord gave them that office for a reason. He doesn't want everyone to be called Israel, right? You have the Israel and then you have Israel of God. The Israel of God, they're gonna follow after the true prophets of the Lord. They're gonna take the notes. They're gonna take heed to the words, right? They're gonna prepare accordingly to what they're hearing and what they're seeing. Okay, but those who are not of the elect, what they're gonna do? They're gonna do everything opposite of that. Okay, they're gonna call you bums. When you're preparing like the real way, they're gonna say, "Oh, you a bum," right? Oh, you guys are preaching hate, right? You guys always got some new controversy that y'all going into. Oh, y'all always get on somebody. Oh, y'all always trying to argue. Oh, y'all raping little girls. All this dumbass shit. What does that have to do with prophecy, right? What does that have to do with preparation of for the MOTB, right? How do you go about that? How do you protect your family? How do you protect yourself? Really, you can't. The only way you can do it is through the Lord. Yahweh Bashim and Yahweh Shai. All right, and I got a quick precept here. I believe there's a Quan put it in the chat, but I'm gonna read it out here real quick. This is a book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 11. I'm gonna start off at verse 12. All right, because this stuff right here it resonates with us. Okay, verse 12 it says, "Again, there is another that is slow and hath need of help, wanting ability and full of poverty. Yet the eye of the Lord Yahweh looked upon him for good and set him up from his low estate." Okay, did not the Lord talk about that in the book of Revelation? That I know thy works and thy poverty, but thou art rich. Okay, so we understand that, like, yeah, on the surface we might seem like we're poor, but hang out with brothers and you know real quick that we ain't poor. Right? We have a lively spirit. Listen, man, look, we ain't worried about what people say about us. All right, because we don't even worry about the kind of situation that we be going through, because we know it's all from the Lord. When you go through a tough time, a low time in your life, because we all go through, it's called the balance of serving the Lord. You got to have the good and the bad, and you have to know how to deal with that. The Apostle Paul said, "What? Learn to be abased and to be abound." Regardless of where you may be, and understand that it's the Lord who's doing it. All right, trust me, we all going through shit. All right, but on the surface, when we meet other people, they think that, "Oh man, you must have it all good. You got no worries whatsoever." Why? Because of the spirit that we have. We're always lively. You're not gonna catch a brother who's depressed, right? Or compressed, I should say. That's the true definition of the word compressed, right? You're not gonna have no brother that's constantly compressed and you're drinking, you're always going through some hardships. No, because we have that lively spirit. We're lively stones. We understand, you had men of the Lord that were going through shit. John the Baptist lived in the freaking wilderness, and he had camel's hair as for clothing, and he ate honey, wild honey. All right, well, shit, damn, like, he a man of the Lord. Yahushua said, "Ain't no greater prophet than John the Baptist," and that was his condition, and he got beheaded. Oh shit, like, damn, if he could go through that, then what about us? Look at the disciples that were with Yahushua. Most of them got put to death. Okay, except for John the Revelator, but most of them got put to death. Look at Yahushua, he got put to death. But the difference between Yahushua and everybody else is he got risen up. Okay, he rose from the dead, meaning those who believe on him, we're gonna have the same result, man. So we don't have fear when it comes to death, like Bakar, you mentioned earlier. We don't fear that him that could kill the flesh, right? We fear him that could kill the flesh and the soul in hell, man. All right, we know that. We know the power we serve. We know what he's capable of doing. We know the promises he's given us. So all we gotta do is just believe on that. That's something that only the elect can do. Because in order for you to believe on that, you got to have something within you that shows you that, yeah, there's something more to this than what we're doing right now. There's something more, like ICR said, you're going to inherit everlasting blessings. That's just a small smidge of the promises the Lord is going to give us, right? When I think of the kingdom, I think of greater things, and not just, being infinite righteousness, or, having, freedoms and eternity and just living forever and just being happy and no stress, none of that, no death, nothing. Like, I think of, like, finally, I can do whatever I want to do in righteousness and not have to worry about it. I don't have to get up to worry about, I got to go to work. What the fuck am I going to work for? Maybe I'm bored. How am I going to be bored in the kingdom? You know what I'm saying? You can't be bored in the kingdom, right? You have all this time. That's why we're going to have eternity. Just even for the earth alone, we're going to have eternity. When the earth is renewed, rebuilt over again, we're going to need eternity to even fully explore what the Lord is giving us right now. Okay? So let's continue. Verse 13, it says, "And lifted up," Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 13, it says, "And lifted up his head from misery," right? We are in a time of misery right now, but the Lord is lifting up our heads. That's why the Apostle Paul said, what? Look up, for your salvation draweth nigh. Okay? It says here, and lifted up his head from misery, right? And by lifting up our head, we're also looking up to the Lord. Whenever you lift up your head, you look up to the Lord, man. Okay? It says, so that many that saw it marveled at him. Okay? Does not the scriptures tell you in the book of Wisdom of Solomon that they're going to marvel at the strangeness of his salvation? Okay? You got a second Ezra that said, then shall they be known who are my chosen. People going to see these things. No, we're not just going to go through it. People going to see it as a testament to the greatness of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Like he's going to show his greatness through his men who are so-called miserable. Right? Yo, y'all miserable. Get a life. Get a job. We've heard that before. Like, nigga, fuck out of here, bro. Not that many people work on Saturdays. The work week is Monday through Friday. All right? So Saturdays we go out there to do the real work. Niggas come out and say, yo, get a real job. Like, come on, bro. We get paid a lot more to do the work we do on Saturdays than you ever get in your whole entire life. Because ultimately, the Lord counts all this sacrificing as a reward towards our faith. We're going to be delivered when the Lord comes back. Are you going to be delivered when the Lord comes back? Because what we're doing on Saturdays, you out there, whatever the hell you're doing over there, is that going to result in salvation? Because that's the ultimate thing. That's the ultimate currency. That's what we all working for, right? Seek your own salvation with fear and trembling. So if you ain't getting no salvation, then what are you really doing? What are we doing here, right? You go to a job and you just working for free. Who the fuck does that? I sign up to work for free. What? Nah, bruh. It don't work like that, right? So it says here, hey, the Lord also says that he's not one to forget our labor of love. What about that part? Right? So we keep all these things in mind, right? It says what? It says verse 14, prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. Okay? So it's nothing for the Lord to make a man rich. It's written like that. It's nothing. The Lord can just boom, with a split second, he makes you rich. And just like that, split second, he makes you poor again. Look at Job. Okay, Job went from rich to poor and richer. How about that, man? See what I'm saying? So you think about all these different things like, yo, shit, we go through our basic stuff in Babylon, part of the curses, but guess what? We still alive. You know what I'm saying? The most important thing is you still have your health, right? The Lord might plague you every now and again, but guess what? He's not going to give you something that you can't bear, right? The Apostle Paul had a thorn in his side. Look how much work he was doing, right? So do we really have an excuse, even if we have a thorn in our side? No. You really want to show the Lord, like, Lord, even with this thorn, really, all it's doing is really trying to slow me down. But without this thorn, Lord, come on. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, the Lord will put you through certain things just to test your resolve, right? Don't look at it as, oh, man, that's judgment. Oh, woe is me. No. Look at it more like, all right, well, what is the Lord trying to show me here, right? What kind of warrior am I? Remember, the toughest battles are always given to the hardest warriors, the toughest warriors, right? The hardest wars, the hardest battles are always going to be reserved for the toughest ones. So if you're going through some real tough shit, look around you and be like, damn, like, you don't got to compare yourself, but look around you and be like, damn, like, look what they're going through. Look what I'm going through. It's nothing compared to them. Shit, I need to shut up and keep working. I just need to keep going. Get up and keep going. Or sometimes you might see somebody else going through some shit and they don't know anything you're going through. But if you were to tell them, it's like, it'll devastate you more to see them just hearing what you're going through. So you just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? At the right time, the Lord will have it where I could share this. But for now, we just got to keep hustling, man. We got to keep going. And those are the kind of people you want to have in your military anyway. A man who's willing to sacrifice and put his personal desires to the side to focus on the good of all. That's the kind of man you want to be around. Okay, that's a team player. That's a true man of the Lord. I'm gonna sacrifice like Yahushua. He's the blueprint. I'm gonna put my life on the line so we could all be good, right? So finishing off in verse 15, right? Oh no, actually, yep, verse 15. Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 15 says, "Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of the Lord. Love and the way of good works are from him." Okay, so we are walking in those righteous steps. Who do you think is putting us through this? Who do you think called us? For many are called, but few are chosen. Right? You can't be bid into a wedding that your name ain't on. Like, if the Lord don't know you, he ain't sending you no invites. I see people get married all the time. I don't know them, so guess what? I drive by, it's like it's nothing because I wasn't invited over there. If I was to show up over there, the nigga at the front is gonna look at the names and be like, "What's your name again?" Okay, so who are you and how did you make it over here? And guess what? They're gonna think that you here to do some shit. They're gonna call the cops on your ass, man. You don't belong here, right? That's the same analogy Yahushua gave, I believe, in Matthew 25, right? He said they're gonna bind them hands and feet and they're gonna cast them into outer darkness. You don't belong here. Like, my friend, who are you and why are you here? Why are you in the wrong attire? You ain't even got the right clothing here. You don't see all the men over here wearing white? Why are you out here wearing black? What's going on? Why are you wearing pink? You got purple rainbow color hair shit. Why are you here? You don't belong here. You stand out, but not in the right way. Hey, men, guys, grab him up, bind him hands and feet, and cast him headlong into outer darkness. He out of there. All right. And that's what the majority of niggas, that's your reality. That's what you about to go through. We don't want to go through that. So that's why we do what we do. Okay, while we still can't do that. But when the time comes when you can't do it, everything you've done, that's what's gonna be holding up. And if it's good enough, you're gonna make it. If it's not good enough, you right there, but it's not good enough. The Lord looks at you and says, you are so close. But just that one Saturday you ain't go out there, or that Saturday you said, I'm just gonna sit this one out. The Lord looking at you like, yeah, that was that one thing you had to do for 2 hours and you'd have been good. There you go. That's your salvation right there. Right? So we always gotta think about it like that. Like, yo, what if this was my last camp? And I'm out there doing something else other than this. And then the Lord says, okay, I'm coming back this time, or I'm sending this ship, or y'all can't go out there no more. You're like, damn, bro, that was my last. Oh, man, like my last camp, I wasn't even with y'all, brother. Like, you feel some type of way about that. And if you don't, you gotta self-evaluate. You gotta really, really self-evaluate, man. All right? But y'all brothers got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Zaquan just posted something. Basically, they said that ICE shot they shot and killed somebody else in Minneapolis. It says the Department of Homeland Security says the person was armed with a gun, which federal agents have recovered. So the first one, Renee Good, it was with her car, right? And then they took her out. This one, they said this person was with a gun, and then they took him out. And so what you can see is that left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, and they're just walking closer and closer and closer into prophecy. Because I remember, Ayash, you said this. I think this is all the way back in high school, but you said something about how they say that you meet destiny on the road you take to avoid it, and that's basically the case, right? These people don't see that everything they're doing and the way their lives are going, it's going to end at the point in which we read of in these scriptures. All right, that's just the gist of it. When you watch a movie trailer, you're going to see that scene in the movie at some point. The scene you saw in the trailer was from the movie. All right, nobody made it up. It's literally from the movie. So if you see somebody get shot, you'll start in the movie, they'll show you the flashback, they'll show you 2,000 years ago, but eventually it'll end up at the scene that you saw in the movie. And that's how he ends up getting shot, right? And so what we see with these scriptures and what the prophets saw were trailers of the things to come. And the trailers always look more intense. They'll take like one cut here, then one cut here, then one cut here. And sometimes the trailers actually throw you off, because when you watch a movie trailer, it seems like this event led to this because of how closely they put them together. But when you actually watch the movie, you're like, oh, okay. So this person didn't actually do this. This happened, which led to this, which then led to that, right? And we're living in a time where these trailers are now becoming reality. But it's interesting because people can't see it. And you wonder, like, how can't you see that there's literally an escalation going on here, right? The same thing that happened, it's because it's not an event-based thing, all right? It's a psychological thing. It's a mental thing. The same thing that happened with the whole Trayvon Martin situation, your Mike Browns and all of that. When that first happened, it was a big deal, but it became normalized because it kept happening again and again and again until the next escalation. And that's a big deal. Then it becomes normalized. Then it happens again and again and again. So when they have ICE out here actually killing people lethally, it's a big deal the first time. It's a big deal the second time, but eventually it starts to become normal. And that's a whole nother level of escalation that you're in. And all these things are happening and people are still here in their minds, just like, everything is all sweet. Like, how did you get from a point of Iran having peace talks with the US to now they literally have sent military over there ready to attack them? And Iran is like, look, we're stronger now than before. And this is going to be an all-out war. We ain't doing ceasefires. And probably because now they're like, look, we got our shit ready. Back then we were very close, but we didn't have it. We didn't have that completion yet. Now we got it. So you try us. So you're looking at both geopolitically and within the country and different places, and you're seeing all these things, and they're like meeting each other. right? You're seeing your Revelation 17 and 16, right? You're seeing how it is that the division between the horns and the beast is being set up. But at the same time, you're also seeing your second Ezra's 15s. You're seeing uproars of the people. You're seeing one people standing up to fight against another with swords in their hands. And at the same time, you're seeing why Russia is going to need to be a guard onto Iran. You're seeing why the least of the flock are going to draw them out. You're seeing them actually drawing them out. So these things are not by coincidence. It's all happening as Yahushua said. And he said, just like you see vultures, when you see vultures gathered in one area, you know there's a carcass there. So just like that, when you see these signs, you know this is the time when the Son of Man is going to make his return. But these people can't see it, not because it's not obvious, but because they have been actually blinded. Okay? When there's a bottle in front of you and somebody cannot see it, it's not because the bottle is not there or you're delusional. It's because the person is blind. They can't actually see it. That's what it is. But eventually they'll get close enough to feel it and they'll know that it's actually there. And that's how the Lord has set up these prophecies. So we need to brace ourselves. If you look at a very slow motion video of, say, even a boxing fight, right, or somebody about getting into it, what you'll see is they start fighting. But once you slow it down, you'll see there's a moment where the person who's about to get hit is there. Then there's a moment when they realize they're about to get hit. And then there's a moment when they brace themselves, if you're watching in very slow motion. And then there's a moment when they actually get hit. But when you watch it at regular speed, it all seems very fast. But the point is, it's broken up into stages. Okay, so we're not at the point of realizing there's a punch coming. We're not at the point of beginning to know. Now we're actually bracing ourselves because the punch is actually right there. And it's basically braced for impact. Okay, same thing. If you're driving, the second you turn around, you see that car is right there in your side, instinctively, and that's where the world is. They're at that, because the next thing that comes is boom, right? Once you do that, the next thing your brain is preparing for is the sound and the feel of the impact, because you're basically like, yeah, I'm already hit at this point. And that's where the world is right now. And guess what? These dumbasses, they didn't even look to their right. The car is right there about to hit them in the side. They didn't even look to the right to even try to brace themselves or try to do any like. They're just there open, just let the hits come in. And that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to hit you with the hits, and they're not going to have any form of a mental preparedness. Imagine being fast asleep. All right, if you're dunked into cold water and you expect it, it's still very cold. If you're fast asleep and somebody comes and pours ice water on you, you're gonna lose it, right? Because your body is completely vulnerable. Right? It's not prepared for that. The brain isn't prepared for it. You just know it's a sudden shock. And that's what's about to happen to these people here. And you know what? It's going to be a beautiful thing, because not only were you ignorant, it's one thing to be ignorant, but you were proud and chose to remain ignorant. You have people that actually think that it's a good idea to not observe the news, to not look at the signs of the times, to not look at what's going on. And their reasoning is because, it's too much evil, too much chaos, too much drama. I don't want to hear it. Hold on 1 second. So how are you going to know when something bad is coming? How are you going to know when there's a warning? How are you going to know what you should do or you shouldn't do? Their mindset is, well, if I don't see it, then maybe it doesn't exist. No, what's going to happen is if you don't see it, you'll feel it. So which one is it? Do you want the warning so you can brace for impact? Or are you just going to walk around ignorant, as the scriptures say? I think I have it on here. Proverbs 22:4, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. It doesn't just mean that he just sits there and all of a sudden, boom, he has a premonition and he's like, oh, there's the evil, let me go and hide. No, but they're constantly examining. They're constantly aware. If they hear something, their brain starts to think, okay, what are the possible ways this can go? It can go very good or it can go very bad. I hope it goes very good, but if in case it goes very bad, what do I do? What's my plan? What's my contingency? How do I get out of here? That's what they have in here. So it's not that they're going in there hoping for bad, but they're going in there prepared in case things go bad. So they can foresee the evil. Where there is no evil, they anticipate. What if there was evil? What would I do? If there was evil, how would it happen in this situation? What would I do? And how do we do that? Through the Holy Scriptures. And we know there's evil coming. And we know the only thing to do is to, and that's how the Lord made it. He made it very easy. He didn't say there's 10 things to do, 15 things to do, 200 things to do. He said there's just one thing to do. Just believe on me. Believe me and serve me. Look at how easy that is. As opposed to if you had to go and learn how to shoot a gun, you had to go and take self-defense classes, you had to go and learn how to survive. Do you know how long it takes to learn which herbs are poisonous and which ones are not? Where to sleep and where not to sleep? How to know and how to track an animal? Where is a safe place to go? Because you may say, I'm gonna run into the woods, and you end up in somebody's backyard somewhere, wondering where the deer are at. Ain't no deer, you in somebody's backyard. So all of these things, it takes a long time to learn survival skills, right? How do you build a tarp? How do you build a fort? How do you start a fire? You know, how do you treat a certain wound? All of these things, the Lord didn't say, go and learn that. Don't worry about that. The Apostle Paul didn't need to learn how to suck out poison from his hand. He got bit by a serpent and he was all good. So we don't need to worry about those. We just worry about one thing, which is much easier than spending 5 years of your life about survival tactics, and then all hell breaks loose and you get shot. All that's out the window, right? So the Lord just said, look, focus on this. Learn the word, eat the roll, and go and teach the house of Israel. That's all you got to do. And that's why the Lord gets frustrated, because he's like, yo, hold on. You do more difficult and more strenuous things every single day for less. And I'm telling you to do this. My yoke is not heavy, right? My burden is not heavy. Just come and serve me, and I'm going to give you more, and I'm going to take care of the rest. And you're making excuses for that? So you know what the Lord is going to say? You know what? I don't want you. I thought that you might have had hope. And what's that scripture? I forgot what scripture it says, but he told Israel that you have not, as it were, forsaken me, but yourselves. The Lord doesn't do this for him. He does this for us, right? Like Job's friend told him, he said, when you're righteous, do you think you're righteous for the Lord? You're doing it for yourself, because when you go off, the Lord doesn't die. He doesn't suffer iniquity. You do. So when he says, seek righteousness, it's for your benefit. When he says, look well into your going, it's for your benefit. It's not because you're going to hurt him. He's the one, he's the destroyer. You are about to be the destroyed. Zaquan put here, they can go into cardiac arrest if you are shocked unexpectedly, yet literally scared to death. And the scriptures, that's it, man. Start feeling them for fear. Let's see. It's not really your heart that reacts negatively. It's your mind that causes your body to go into shock so intensely. Yeah, that's it. Yep. And that's why, what's one of the main things, I got you, bro, that the Lord has us preparing? Our minds. It's not lifting weights. It's not karate or whatever. It's all the things that, mainly the things we're doing is this. You're conditioning your mind. Okay? You gonna say something, Haran?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how we have that saying, even in the gym, right? The mind leads and the body obeys, right? Because your body is going to go where your mind directs it to go. It's like a car, right? The body is the car, and the mind is the driver. You decide where the car is going to go, how it's going to go, how fast it's going to go, how slow, and so on and so forth. So the more in tune you are with your body, you can control how you feel. People could control their temperature. Like, you could be outside cold, but just how your mind is wired, you could make your body feel warm. Of course, you're going to have your freezing feet, hands, and all that, but you can stay alive because of how you're, regulating your body temperature just from your mind alone. The mind is a powerful thing. People don't even know that. You see, I'm going to get this real quick. This is a book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. We already know this, but we're going to bring it up because it's prevalent in the times that we're coming into. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Now, wisdom and knowledge of what? Of all things. Did not the Apostle John say that we have an unction from the Holy One, and therefore we know all things, right? So having that mindset, having that knowledge, understanding of what you're going through, it'll help you be stable. Because I'll say 80 to 90% of the shit that we really stress out about is things of the unknown. Like, you're so afraid and worried about things that you don't know that it cripples you sometimes. And then you go through and you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad, man. I'm here thinking this and that, Like, for example, this morning, I'm looking at temperature. It says -11, right? -11 is what it feels like. So I'm like, damn, like, shit, I got to go get some gas, whatever. So I pick my shit, wear my regular clothes that I normally wear, and then I step outside. And I walk to the gas station, pay for the gas, and as I'm pumping the gas, I'm outside. And the clerk in the gas station, he goes, yo, man, you got this guy out there, he's begging. It's fucking cold. Why are you even out there begging? Go home before you sit out here and die. You out here chasing money, you about to die in this cold ass weather. Take your ass home, man. You ain't that broke. And I was just like, shit, all right, well, I just said, hey, why you doing da-da-da, get my gas and I'm out. Now, one thing I did notice was when I was pumping the gas, yeah, I was outside for like, 2-3 minutes, whatever the case may be. But it was cold, but I wasn't really feeling it like that because my mind wasn't telling me that, yo, it's negative 11 degrees. My mind was like, oh, it's not that bad. Even the sun is out. Oh, okay, that's not that bad. Just telling myself, oh, that's not that bad. The cold is there, but I'm not really feeling like that because my mind is saying, oh, it's not that bad. So it's not something you should be really worried about. But if I was to be in that fear-driven state of, yo, it's fucking cold, like, oh, nah, I'm not even trying to be outside. As soon as I step outside, I'm going to feel that shit. That cold is going to be different. It's going to hit me right in the chest, in my face, and I'm going to be like, whoo, even if it's not that bad, my mind already thinks it's bad, so I'm already reacting like it's bad. You see what I'm saying? So that's another thing. A lot of people, they don't teach this in school. Like, emotional intelligence or whatever. They don't teach all these things in school. When you come into the truth, your adversity will teach you how to deal with these things. Because you quickly realize that, damn, like, if I don't figure some shit out of this, I ain't got no way out of this. And by figuring it out, who you going to go to? The Lord. Okay? My job that I do, man, listen, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, whether it's snowing, whether it's raining, whatever the case may be, it could be negative 30 degrees. If there's work, we going to be out there. Right? And I think about that. I'm just like, shit. Imagine being out there in this freaking cold, and especially if it's windy. Boy, look at here, man. Man, shit, bro. You be regretting it. That's when you really hate your job. You like, fuck, man, I got to be outside in this cold ass weather. I was telling my brother this morning. And then you think about it, and you're like, yo, if I don't do this job, who else is going to do it? Nobody else is going to do it. I can't call my supervisor and be like, yo, bro, it's too cold. I can't do this job. He going to look at you like, what the fuck? Like, what do you think this is? Right? It's the same thing with the Lord. There's no excuses. You're going to feel the cold. Yeah. You're going to get the job done. You're going to get paid for it. You're not going to die. You're not going to fall off the ladder while you're up on the pole. You're not going to do that. Right? But while you're there, sometimes it gets so windy, you see the snow, the wind gust blowing up the snow and shit. Again, in your eyes, you know what I'm saying? Your hands are so cold, it's like it hurts. Like you touch anything and it's burning, like it's so painful. You got gloves on, but the gloves ain't doing shit. You know what I'm saying? And you just out there in the freezing cold on the fucking ladder and this wind is blowing everything and you just like holding the pole and then one hand is moving shit around and you just like, if I fall off this motherfucker, it's over with. But guess what? Do you ever fall? No. Right? So it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind, bro. And that's why the scripture is written. Us who have that wisdom, knowledge, understanding of not just history, but prophecy and what the Lord is doing in real time, we're not going to be bothered by these things. We're going to understand, okay, it's happening, but it's not coming for me, right? Or it's not coming for us. And even if it does, the Lord's going to take care of us in that storm, right? Imagine being shielded when there's a big storm, like a hen shielding over her chickens, right? You're going to be protected regardless. And guess what? If a snake comes around, try to get you, the hen is going to get up and she's going to fight back against that snake, man. She's going to fuck that snake up, man. All right. So it's the same thing. The Lord he's the hen that's, protecting. I believe there's a precept that says that, right? He's covering us with his wings, his feathers. You know what I mean? So we're going to be good. Let the storm come, but we're going to be good, man. All right. Remember, your knowledge of the Lord, knowing how the Lord works and how he operates and how the prophecies are playing out is going to be good enough to keep you stable. Right? When you got people getting shot up, beat up, stomped out, fucked up, well, that's judgment. I'm not going to face that kind of judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't put myself in that situation for the Lord to have me as that kind of target. Right? But he's going to definitely be targeting people. Right? It's already written. It's Ezekiel 9, the 9th chapter, the 4th verse on down, that there's going to come a time where everyone is going to get got, except those who are marked from destruction. You're given that mark of exemption from that judgment. There's people like that on this earth, right? And they're known as the elect. We claim ourselves to be the hopeful elect because we hope to be that people that elect, right? And we do everything in the stead of those elect people. So when the time comes for the Lord to deliver the elect, who do you think he's going to be delivering? Those who've been doing what the elect will be doing. You see what I'm saying? They believe in the Lord. They live their lives according to the ways of the Lord. They're always sacrificing themselves for the Lord, right? What do you think the Lord's going to do? He's going to look out for you, man. All right, he's going to look out for you. So don't think your sacrifices are going for nothing. Okay? The Lord is not going to forget your labor of love. Keep on going, and brace yourselves. All right? I think somebody has something to say. Yep, I just got it.
Yeah, I wasn't done with my point. Let me go back to my precept. So what I was saying was, but just like the brother said, right? Basically everything that Haran was just saying, ties all right back in, right? Because you gotta, and you mentioned something about the mindset. Like you can be out in like suboptimal weather, but if nobody ever told you how cold it was, and you just go out there, the day before might have been cold, today might have been colder, but that's just in your mind. Oh, it's a little colder today, until they tell you, oh, yo, it's dangerously cold. Oh, it's like yo, this is deadly. Then all of a sudden, oh shit, oh my gosh, I came home and now I'm sick. It's kind of like a fine line with like the whole placebo effect, right? What your mind thinks. If something is not scary and people make it a big deal, eventually you become scared of it, right? Oh shit! Like I remember back in Ghana, life was different, right? It was like you're more around nature. So you would see a snake, you would see a scorpion, and it's not that big of a deal because people didn't make it that big of a deal about it over there. You see a scorpion, get a stick, bam. You see a snake, get a stick, bam, right? Here, they see a roach and they tweaking. They see a rat and they're tweaking. Let alone a freaking they see a tiny ass snake and they're losing their minds. Stay around that long enough, you'll start to fear snakes because of how other people fear it. Now all of a sudden you're like, but I grew up around them. Why the hell is it now? I see it and I'm like, oh shit, yo, that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how, but that's because of the mindset. And Esau capitalizes off of that and puts that upon people. So you have to always keep that in mind. It doesn't matter what all these people are thinking and saying, it's what the Lord has set up. And I was thinking about this as well, how you can tell somebody a lie, but based on how you tell it to them, they might actually believe it themselves. Somebody could be actually a crappy person. They could be a piece of ish person and they themselves know it. And then one person tells them one day, they do something polite for them. And the person says, yo, you know what? You're actually a pretty stand-up guy. And this dumbass is going to sit there and think, hey, you know what? I am a pretty stand-up guy. I actually, then their brain starts to look for examples and reasons as to why they actually are a stand-up guy. Yeah, all these people saying I'm a crappy guy, and that's not true. I'm a stand-up guy because of flattery. You can tell somebody a lie about themselves in a flattering way, and they'll actually start to think that it's true. You're actually very strong. No, you're not. You weak as shit. But yeah, you know what? I might be putting on some. Yeah, you can see that, right? You see the little triceps come. No, it's not triceps. It's a little fat that's on the back of your hand. That's not triceps, bro. That's fat on the back of your hand. But because they hype you up. That's what they say. They hype you up. Then you walk around thinking you got good shit, and it's not. No, it's not good shit. So it's interesting how the mind works, right? Like Imnah said, if the mind can conceive, right, and believe it, then it can achieve it. It works in both ways, in the reverse and in the inverse and the opposite of that. But the precept I had here, finishing off with that precept, Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Now here's like a real life example. We see like the situation with that just happened now, right? They said ICE killed somebody else in Minneapolis, same area. Again, we see that that's an escalation. The second Trump came out here talking about he's going to send troops to the cities, it wasn't a doubt in our minds that, oh, then you're just going to undo it. No, they're still here. Yeah, they had, oh, yeah, we're going to withdraw them from here. And now they're in Minneapolis doing worse things than they were in Washington. So we knew it's going to get worse. So what does that mean for us? Okay, make sure you're on point. Continue to serve the Lord. Don't mess around. Don't jeopardize your salvation because you're going to need it. So as we see things escalate more and more, we know eventually they're going to go door to door, and eventually they'll come to a city near you and then your city, and maybe they might come to your house. So when you anticipate that, you pray to the Lord, you fast, you do all the things the Lord requires. So when that time happens, you can be hidden. But as it says here, but the simple pass on and are punished. Because you know what they're doing? They're protesting, thinking that's what's going to stop. When has protest ever stopped anything? Really think about it. All that you going out there, you are you telling me that the government with weapons and guns and all of those things that control your electric grid, that sign your check, that take out taxes out of your shit, that build the roads that you drive on, that basically control your whole life because you wrote on some cardboard signs and went into the street and held it up talking about we won't stand for this anymore. Because of that, they're going to turn around and say, oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. Let's stop. ICE agents with guns are going to turn around and see your little cardboard signs and say, you know what? They got it. They're actually right. They convinced me. Let me stop and turn around. That's not how life works. So when they jump on there, no, there's not strength in numbers. There's strength in power. What is the saying? You can bring 100 sheep And all it takes is 5 wolves or 5 lions, and that's it. Oh yeah, strength in numbers. Bring 100 sheep. Bring 100 sheep into the lion's den and see how much strength in numbers you have over there. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Okay, this is reality. As the saying goes, what is it? Survival of the fittest. Today's society will tell you that's toxic. No. What do you mean survival of the fittest? So what about the weak? We didn't make it up. That's the laws of that's the laws of nature. Go out there into the animal kingdom and you'll see what that means. Survival of the fittest. Okay, the fit survive because they do what it takes to survive. And really, it starts here. It's a mentality. But people have been softened up, not just physically, but mentally. They've been told you can be fat and obese, but you're beautiful. It's called body positivity. No, it's not. It's called being delusional. When you exercise, your body naturally looks a certain way. And then they'll say, no, that's societal standards. No, it's how your body naturally looks when you exercise. Okay, and when you stay healthy. But they'll tell you, no, it's okay. Eat the Twinkies, enlarge your back. You know what I'm saying? Continue to consume these foods, right? Devour that plate. And it's okay because somebody's going to find you beautiful. That's a damn lie. Nobody's going to find you beautiful. It's a lie. It's not true. And it's not healthy. You're risking your life. And when all hell breaks loose, you're going to be one of the first ones to go. You're either going to lose a lot of weight or you're just going to die because your body can't take it. The fatter you are, the more energy it takes for you to actually do the basic things. That's why you got some people that go up 3 flights of stairs. There was a man who had to push his wife from the elevator about 3 doors down in the hotel building to the door. And he said, "This is why I don't like going on vacations with you." Because this dude he's sweating. He's in a wife beater, wintertime, sweating bullets. He's drenched because he got to put her on the little things where you put your luggage. He got to pick her fat ass up in the elevator. She wasn't standing. She had to sit in the elevator. And then when it comes up there, he's spending about 10 to 15 minutes encouraging her to at least try to stand up. And she's breaking his back and he's he's dragging her out the elevator, getting her fat ass onto the little lift thing. And now he got to push. And he's pushing with all his strength just to get her to the door, then get her off of it, and then get her on the bed. That process is about at least 45 minutes to an hour right there. And it's crazy, but that's reality. And then she gets on the bed and that's it. She's like, nah, I can't. But you know what she's craving? She's not craving vegetables, kale, avocado, spinach, proteins. No. She wants the Wendy's. She wants the McDonald's. And they don't eat little. They don't do Happy Meals. They don't do kids' meals. They do about 3 to 4 or 5 servings. You know, you had that dude talking about, I just love food. I get so excited when I see it, and I just can't help myself. Once I'm eating breakfast, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to get for lunch. So I always have them on speed dial. And then he's like, I'll order it, and in about 2 minutes later, I'm already at the door. Lifting the thing, looking through to see when they come in, knowing that the order ain't coming for about 30 minutes, but he just can't help himself. That's a demon. That's an actual. No, that's not a demon. That's legion. That's a legion of demons that all need their fair share. And guess what? You got people like that in society today who are gonna get caught up in this. So yeah, we may joke about big backs, but hey, when reality hits, man, to be a big back is a dangerous position to be in. It's a very vulnerable and compromising position. But I got one more precept, Salakia, and I'll pass it. This is Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. And that's more important. That's crucial for all of us. You got to seek the Lord while he may be found. But if you're extremely vulnerable, you're very old, you're very big, you're very, you're at a disadvantage, right? You have some disability. You need to seek the Lord extra. Because in that time, like the blind man during Yahushai's time, when he couldn't see, but when he heard Yahushua was passing, he was screaming for Yahushua, have mercy on me. Then they try to shut him up. And he got pissed and screamed even louder. The fuck you mean shut me up? This is my one and only time to get my sight back or to get my ability to walk. You gonna tell me to shut up and let him pass by? Hell no. So he sought the Lord, and the Lord said, what? What do you want? He said, I want my sight back. And the Lord gave him his sight back. But these people over here, they're not thinking that way. He got his sight just like that. He might have been blind from birth. But in a matter of 5 minutes, 2 minutes, an interaction, you get your sight back. Meanwhile, you got people over here that, once again, given the opportunity, what are they saying? Pursuant to Proverbs, the first chapter, the 20th verse on down, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and fools delight in their scorning. They eat and they scorn, and then they eat some more, and then they scorn. And that's it. That's the main life of people here today. Eat fat, live fast, and die young. And that's why the Lord is bringing that great judgment to this place. You brothers got it.
Khan, yeah. I was thinking about everything you was bringing out about big backs, and big backs are very flammable. They're very flammable, and they're gonna be ripe for that fiery judgment. They're gonna burst into flames, man. Like all of that oil, that fat, that's just gasoline. You might as well douse yourself in gasoline, and I was just meditating on that whole thing because America is known for having the most enlarged backs of everybody. America's known for that. Babylon the Great is known. It's well known. Other nations make fun of America on the basis of that. And it just goes to show, I was thinking about, I was meditating on this a lot just now. And Habakkuk says that they can never be satisfied. All right? Never be satisfied. That's an example. Now you look at the bankers, they might look frail like Jacob Rothschild, but spiritually they're gluttonous. Spiritually they're fat. Spiritually it's like an obese man, And that is just a reflection of the nature of America itself, man. Gluttony, consumption, consume. That's why you have some place called the Heart Attack Diner, where people go out of their way, they weigh themselves and they say, yo, I think if you're a certain amount of girth and obesity around you, that if you are rotund enough, that they give you like a free burger or some shit. If you're that big, like they're encouraging you, like, yeah, here, eat this and die. Okay. So that's just an example of the gluttonous nature of America, Babylon the Great, man. Some of these big backs, they so big, they'll go outside right now, butt ass naked. They won't even feel the cold, man. All that blubber they got on them, But I wanted to bring this up too, in reference to Aharon's point earlier, about going out in the cold and not feeling it. And that, and as Zaquan also mentioned, dealing with the mind, your mindset, this truth, having the mindset of this truth is like a coat. Having the mindset of this truth is like having a winter hat on. Having the mindset of the truth is like having the gloves. I see people in this parking lot where I'm at now, they're running frantically to go get all these different things. This truth is like the salt that takes the ice. This truth is like the salt that takes the ice off the ground so you don't slip and bust your ass. All right? Hey, the scripture says that he'll enlarge my steps, right? All these people going to grab the salt, you still going to slip and bust your ass, all right? Whether you do it physically or spiritually, you're going to take a spill. You're going to take a fall, man. But the Lord has enlarged our steps, man. All right? So this truth is like the salt that they put in on the ground to stop the ice from forming. This truth is like the snowblower that, clears the way, clears a path for you through the icy tundra that's about to come. All right. This truth is this truth is everything, anything, whatever you need it to be, wherever you need it to be, whenever you need it to be. That's what this truth is. It can do all things. It can suffice all situations. That's the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. And another thing I was thinking about is when you have the right mindset, you know how to do things in the cold, like breathe properly. People, they'll be breathing through their mouth. And when you breathe through your mouth, your body is like a furnace. When you release all of the heat through your mouth, you become colder quicker. And then when they start to panic because it's cold, they start breathing through their mouth more, and then they're going to lose more heat. When the real way to do it is to breathe through your nose, because you don't give away so much heat when you breathe through your nose. You inhale enough oxygen and you exhale enough oxygen. And then you breathe through your belly too. So you get a deep breath. The cold air that comes in converts into heat as it's all the way deep in your body. And then when you release it, it's the cold air that just entered. Now it's heated up. But when you constantly breathing through your mouth, and it shows Stranger Things, they mock people who are mouth breathers. And that's most people, Not to say like, listen, some of us, you might breathe. You can breathe through your mouth, but I'm saying in a situation where you're in the winter, there's a certain way to even breathe. And then think about the breath of life. Think about the spirit of the Lord. That's us knowing how to breathe. That's us knowing how to move. That's us maintaining our calm and certain wisdom that the Lord has us apply to where these different situations is not going to affect us, man. You could be in the brick ass cold and the Lord have you feeling warm. You know, you could be out in the beaming sun and the Lord make you feel, like you're not going to pass out. You calm, cool, collected. All right. So I just wanted to speak on how the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord can do many different things depending on the situation, and it's adaptable to every situation.
And I got a quick quote because brothers speaking about the mind, and it's events do not affect men, but how we view them. You can't always control what happens, but you can control how you interpret it. And based on your interpretation, that would determine your emotional state. See, the mind is a funny thing. It tends to create more pain than life itself, unless you train it, and you train that ultimately in the truth. And another quote I have is we often struggle in imagination than reality. I believe that's it. Right, Bakar? All right,
Yeah.
okay. And that is like most of our stress doesn't come from what's actually happening. It comes from like the what ifs, what might happen, what could go wrong, what we fear others think. Your mind can literally torture you with a fake future that would never arrive. And then when that real moment comes, it's often like way shorter, less intense, and way more manageable than you ever imagined. That's it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Beautifully said.
What's crazy about what you said, Aaron, about the about how what was it? You go to a place, you get all your resources, you go to a place, and then they tell you, "No, we don't use that." And I was thinking of it popped in my mind because I was watching this documentary about these explorers that go to the South Pole, and apparently you can't just go and get any map. You can't even get a map that was used last year because the terrain is always changing. It's completely ice. It shrinks, it grows. There are new mountains here and new mountains. So you gotta really make sure that you have the exact one. Because you go over there, you get lost, you fucking die. You understand? So I'm thinking of it like, damn, this is pretty much like a perfect analogy to the truth. Because the Most High, I believe brother said how the Lord really tests our resolve by exposing us to all these different ideologies and different mindsets and having us around people who choose to be asleep, or like you're saying, people who actually believe it's a good idea not to watch. And the Lord has around all these things to see if there's anyone who can actually corrupt his men, And so you consider this terrain, and then you want to find a one true thing that can take a man through from this side of a heathen kingdom to the next side, which is the kingdom of heaven. And you find out that you got to have the exact right one, which is what the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai. And you can't just even get down with anyone who says they know the Bible. You can't even get down with anyone who says he's a Christian. You can't even get down with anyone who says he gets down with he knows the Bible, he's an Israelite. You got to find the exact right one. Otherwise, you get lost in, and at the end of the day, you perish. So it was actually very spiritual how you brought that up, because it popped in my head like, yo, it's exactly. And this is one of the things where when I find certain things like this, I'm like, yo, people are actually really intelligent. I think they just want to be fucking idiots. But when it comes to matters of the Lord, they just want to be ignorant. They will tell you, yo, this don't make any sense. But I'm like, yo, everything around you is exactly like if it makes sense here, it should make sense on this side. People always want to talk about 613 commandments. How can you bring 613 commandments? The American laws have tens of thousands, over 20,000 laws. It's so much so that the federal government itself has lost track of it. I never heard a motherfucker like that complaining about the government. They've never said, well, how can I live in this kingdom? How can I follow the laws if there were tens and thousands of laws codified that I'm most likely breaking every day? They've never complained about that. But when it comes to matters of the Lord, and even the 613 commandments, you don't even have to follow everything, right? Most of it are specific to factions that you belong to, right? Whether you're a woman, whether you are a priest, right? Whether you're a father, a child, a lot of these things don't even, and it's like they or even like Bukwa, you said people work for more, people do a lot more for less things. And I saw a video where this woman actually stand there and he got sprayed literally a fucking pepper spray beneath her membranes. You like just it's a military training. You gotta fucking pry your eyes open and I'll have someone stand there and aim for your eyes, and then they take walk around and throw punches. And she's doing backflips and doing all these shit. She's like in pain. She did all of that for the military and like for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So people, but then when you tell them, go serve the Lord, but it's a really simple thing. Just study to show yourself approved and pass on the knowledge, teach the truth, and believe in how Bashim Yashai. It's actually very simple than going out into boot camp. And people don't know this about the military, but a lot of people go into the military and they come out with like bone issues and shit because they push your body to the limit. A lot of people don't actually get to make it to join the ranks. They come in and you can't sue the military. You can't regain the time you lost in them, all the years, all the time that you could have learned a different skill and got an office job. You can't get any of that back. You go over there, you a veteran, and you end up in you homeless. None of that. You know what I'm saying? But then they don't want to complain about the kind of world that they're living in. But the like brother quoted, "Take my yoke upon you because it's easy." People don't want to understand that. So really, they have the ability to be okay with the logic of this world, but it's just that they want to make themselves enemies with the Most High. That's why the scripture says that what? Ye are of your father the devil. And Esau's mentality is that the Most High ain't good enough to be. He wants to replace the Most High. So everything about the Most High, he wants to be against. When you like, sometimes when you want to be an asshole to somebody, sometimes you agree with them, but I seem like I ain't gonna agree with you. We're gonna talk it out. Yo, bro, I know you know what I don't know what you mean. And sometimes, we used to do that back in high school. Yeah, exactly. Just to spite someone, just to spite them. And that's what this world really is doing. So I get why I think at some point in this truth, I was always caught up on, I have to, like, what am I doing wrong that somebody doesn't really get the truth? Like, how can I explain this? How can I prove this? And then later on, the apostles saying, yo, man, don't be spending, and even brothers and Zaquan was saying, don't spend your time with these niggas. They will never, ever understand because they are like a different, you be speaking a different kind of language. It's like talking to a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is going to get through because they have chosen to make themselves enemies with the Lord. And that's why the Lord is going to destroy them. Because really they have the ability to grasp all these things, but they just don't. They just hate the Lord. They want to be against the Lord. They want this kingdom over the kingdom of the Heavenly Father. And it's just that's just it,
Yeah, I got one last precept for you based on what you just said. And if brothers don't got anything else, we can wrap it up. But you mentioned about them being like they're not like idiots, but they just choose to be dumb when it comes to serving the Lord. This is Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. They have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. So just as the brother was saying, when you actually look at the folly that Jake does, a lot of it is it's mesmerizing in a wicked sense because of how creatively wicked it is. Like that somebody could think, yo, I'm gonna take nobody looks at a raccoon and thinks it's appetizing, but Jake can make it look good. That's crazy work. You take a raccoon and skin it and cook and spice it up and dip it in the sauce and zip it, you know what I'm saying? And just put it on the screen and all that shit. It's like, yo, put the little seasoning on it. And then they'll actually have somebody look at that like, damn, yo, that raccoon, I mean, now you're looking at raccoons differently, they're wise to do evil. When it comes to evil, they will think of 1,000,001 ways to do it perfectly and convince you that you should come and join them and do it, But when it comes to the like it says, the work of the Lord or to do good good things, they become slow of mind. All of a sudden, wait, so how you do? I gotta read the book. Like I gotta sit down and read it though. It says thou. What does that even mean? Nah, bro, this is too much. What, bro? You'll sit down and read a freaking 50-page novel on how to go and rob somebody and steal their weapons and shoot. Like they'll sit down and come up with a plan. Like if you listen to this guy T Grizzly. This guy is a dumbass genius at the same time. Like his music goes into the wicked shit he's done, but his reasoning and logic in it is actually sound, but in wickedness. You know, he's like, I ended up here. I had to do this. I told this guy this, but I wasn't going to pay him. I walked away on this dumbass. Then I went here. Then I went this. Then this girl bailed me out. But you know, if she sold me out once, then she might do it again. I can't kill her now, but I do it later. Damn, nigga, like you a mastermind, but at wickedness. You know, and he's just like, damn. But when it comes to righteousness, like if you took that and applied that here, look at how much more productive you would be. But no, they want to apply it to wickedness. You know, that's the domain they want to excel at. You know, I'm a killer. I got a couple killers. Why? Well, hey, but going back to the point you made, Ayash.
Hey, like the hip hop world that they push this whole, if you ain't been to jail, you ain't got no bodies, that you ain't nobody type shit. Like these other guys that were, I think like a month ago, they were trying to clown brothers, and they were like, "Hey, you were like," they sound like to the example of like you a good kid or something like that. You ain't got no trouble. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but it was something to that effect. Like, yo, you a good kid. Like you ain't done nothing wrong.
Yeah,
like why you
shot nobody? You haven't been in jail.
Yeah, you ain't been in jail. You ain't shot nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to them, it's like you have to do those kind of things in order to have rep in this society. Shit, if that's the case, then none of us got rep then, right? Fuck out of here. I got this one right quick, and we could end it off. There's a book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 12, and this is perfectly lined up with what y'all brother said, Yasha Bakar, in regards to how you could spend time explaining stuff to these people, but if they don't get it, they're not going to get it. Why? Because they're not meant to get it. The Lord has closed their minds that they can't get it, right? It's actually written that way. He's blinded their minds and made their ears, their hearts fat, that they can't hear this word, so they could repent and be healed and be delivered. The Lord don't want that, right? So he's done it, designed it that way, so they can't get it. So if you talking to them, you wasting your time, basically. You wasting resources on a nigga that can't get it, right? Cast not your pearl to swine, basically. You always got to remember that. There's a book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 12. It says, now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of the Most High, right? That we might know the things that are freely given to us of the Most High. Okay, that's ultimately the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the scriptures. Okay, we didn't have to go buy it. The Lord gave it to us freely, right? Freely ye have received, freely ye give, right? So it says, verse 13, it says, which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Spirit teacheth, comparing spiritual things to spiritual. That's why we're always spiritual. Everything that we do, we judge it from the lens of being a spiritual man, not carnal. Okay, because that's not going to really end you up nowhere except for death. Because being carnal is enmity with the Most High, right? A carnal mind is enmity with the Lord, and that's the path to death. Verse 14, it says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. When you read that in the NLT, it says, but people who aren't spiritual can't receive these truths from the Most High Spirit. It all sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it. For only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit means. And that's plain as day. All right. So ultimately, the word of the Lord is spiritually discerned and is only given to those who are spiritually minded, meaning the elect. All right. We are in this world, but not of this world. Everything that goes on, as the Apostle John says, that what? The whole world lieth in wickedness. All right. It's all evil, man. It's all wicked. It's all carnal. Okay. But those who are of the elect, you're going to have the spiritual mindset to understand the things that's going on, to know that these are spiritual events. These are not carnal events. These are spiritual events for spiritual outcomes. Okay, and only the spiritual minded are going to actually understand what's going on and actually make it through this spiritual storm. I'm gonna just add that as well, right? Because that's what's coming. Okay, and as is written in Isaiah 59 and 19, the Lord is going to lift up a standard against, all right, that spiritual storm that's coming. Okay, that storm that's going to make its way over here. The Lord's going to lift up a standard against it. Okay, and He's going to give us that power to be able to overcome, all right, and not be subdued to this storm that's coming. All right, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, brothers got it.
Hey, one thing that came to mind when you saying that last thing, when that ice comes in, the Spirit of the Lord gonna melt it, you know. And you see, it's very interesting to play on the ice that's happening, and then ice with the troops and different things. But ultimately, the Spirit of the Lord, the Lord said He make His ministers as a flame of fire. So, hey, you know, they can bring whatever ice they want. How about Shem Yahushua Spirit gonna melt them? You know, they could come like Sub-Zero, man. We gonna come like Scorpion. All right.
That's it. Perfect. Cool. So I think this is we can end it here. Definitely beautiful. The Wadi Ba'asham Yahushai for sending us His Holy Spirit. Why, Lord willing, this is edifying camp to the elect. And in closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rechak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.